These are two giant business enterprises that are designed to get your attention and take as much money and attention from you as possible. That's what these are. When you guys see this, what do you think about him?
Bro's living, bro.
I think he's on drugs.
And so when you look at this, you have assumptions.
Sean wanted to talk more about the psychological aspects of what we're going through right now.
And I think it's more of on consuming content and understanding what you're consuming and being aware of how you can be like propagandized.
Are we in a mission to eliminate biases that are untrue in people or inform people so they can shift their biases? Or is the mission not to shift biases at all and really just to bring truth and let people do with it as they please? 4 of the Cabin Fever
Our
podcast. Huh?
Basically, our brand new
Yeah, because
podcast.
now we're on our own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Welcome to the channel, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Cabin Fever podcast. I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Sean Wright on the ones and twos. Got
Hey,
the
guys.
keyboard and the mouse. We got Joe sitting here in the middle, and I'm going to ask about that shirt. And my name is Zachary Faust.
It was a Christmas gift from my dad.
What's this
I was gonna
shirt,
say,
dog?
yeah.
This looks like it has some symbolism in it.
Some demonic stuff going on.
No, so my dad is a very successful man, and he's very eccentric. He's an interesting fellow. We joke all the time, like, you can't buy anything for my dad for Christmas because
Turn off that
anything. Oh, I love the heater.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to turn off for the keep going, dude.
Oh, that's good. Good idea. Good idea. Yep. Good call.
We're here. We're still live.
It's still being noisy.
It'll turn off. It's got to, like, cool down.
Anyway, my dad, I started doing this thing in my late 20s where I was like, I'm just going to keep, if you sent him a link, he would buy it.
Oh, cool.
And so my siblings were actually sending gifts they wanted. And I was like, I'm going to send him like 5 links of what I think are things that should make him ask me about it to see if he does. And he never did. He would just keep ordering things. And this is one of the things I found online. It's from an artist called Wizard of Barge. It's a sweatshirt. It says, "Good boys finish last." And I sent him this, and he bought it right away. And when I opened it, he went, "That's what I got."
That's what I got.
So he clicked the link, just added to the cart, never looked at it.
Is that a dead rat in a robe? Is that what we're looking at?
You know, like the Egyptian
Looks like a rat.
Anubises? It's like
Oh, he's a dog.
kind of art based on that, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing you didn't send a ticket to Epstein Island.
Wizard of Barge is a really good artist. He makes a lot of cool stuff.
That wasn't funny. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I liked it.
I moved
it was
on
a
from
firm
it.
bit right there.
Thank you.
I moved on from it.
Well, last week we talked a lot about Iran, still going on. As we've talked about and predicted, we kind of, we really meshed well with a guy named Professor Zhang on his predictions that
This guy's awesome.
he is awesome.
It's cool.
That we're more than likely going to send in ground troops. Now BB is absolutely talking about the building of the third temple, end time stuff. For more on that, go back to our last episode. We did talk a lot on that. But this week, we want to get more into the psychological aspects of things. So,
Yeah, I want to segue from that because
Please.
a lot of the stuff we talked about with Iran was propaganda and people saying crazy stuff and misinformation going around. So this week, I guess we're kind of switching hosts around. And since I'm the host now, we're going to talk about that, psychological stuff. And if you look on the screen that is being shown on the screen right now, it says you are in an algorithm. Scary. It's Friday the 13th as we're shooting this, by the way.
Hey,
So that's why
spooky.
It's scary. It's
Joe,
scary.
Joe wore his scariest shirt.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that.
I should
at
have wore a
that.
spooky shirt, man.
Guys, I'm not scared.
D-State Parks.
red.
I actually
All I
wore,
see is red.
I wore this because it makes me feel safe.
That's fair.
Why?
Well,
No one's messing with me when I wear this.
That's fair. No one's touching
They're
him
like,
in that.
stay away from that
Stay
guy.
away from that guy. He wears weird. I don't even know. I literally don't know what I'm looking at.
I like
It's
the
an
dogs.
Anubis.
I like the dogs on the bottom.
I think that's what they're called.
Dogs?
It was just a cool shirt that I sent my dad that I thought would be funny, and I like it.
When was that?
5 years ago.
Dang.
I get compliments on it all the time to this day.
It is cool looking, I will say. Like a dungeon crawler type thing.
Unique. Very Billabong.
Billabong.
It's not.
I don't even remember what website it was. It was just a random like Instagram ad I got
Spencer's.
one day.
I was just about to say Spencer's. I was
Hot
just about
topic.
to say that.
Spencer's.
That is a Spencer's shirt. That's
Guys,
right next to
you
the
guys
beer
saying
bong.
it's a Spencer shirt is disrespectful, in my opinion, to the artist.
Spencer's is legendary.
Guys,
Wizard of
don't
Barge.
go in the back of Spencer's.
Why don't go in the back?
A lot of people say there's some weird stuff back there.
What's
I
in the
don't
back of
know, though.
Spencer's?
Sean getting
My mom never
shamed.
let
I
me
don't
go
know.
into Spencer's.
Are you lying?
No,
No,
I
he
think
went
I've
to
been in
Christian
Spencer's
school.
once in my life, and I felt
fair.
scared. I was a young boy.
Dude,
Young boy who didn't know the world.
How
We're
vulgar can I be right now? Because
I
there's
was gonna
something I want to
say-
say.
we're supposed to be talking about real stuff, but Spencer's had this phase where they had like when the straight brim hats were really popular, they had all these hats that were like video game characters. So it was just like Sonic the Hedgehog's giant eyeballs and then a hyper blue hat. And then it would be like those hats were cool.
I could see that. Like Pikachu's eyes and then the whole thing's yellow.
I never got any because
yeah. That one for Cookie Monster.
like the things you're saying about this shirt, you would have said even worse about me if I bought one of those hats. So I never bought those hats, but I just liked looking at them.
Why am I ever thinking if the wires are plugged in? I know they are. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, we're going. We're good. Dude.
We're good.
We're good.
This is your favorite stem.
I wanted to bring up something from Spencer's. I was like 8 years old when I went in there, and my mom had no idea. Like she didn't know what was going on. She's never been in there before, and we were walking past it, and I wanted to go in. This is at the Dover Mall, and we walk in, and the first thing we see I don't even know where it was. I think it was on the cash register. Was like a sticker of a penis, and it was a guy. It was like a face on a penis, and he was like angry. He was like this, and I saw it, and I'm like, I think that's a penis. And then we left, and I was
what
never
an
allowed to go back
8-year-old
in.
thing.
Was that the first?
It's like a core memory.
Was that the first penis you ever saw?
Yeah.
It had to be. It had to be in the first 5.
That's
If he was looking at it saying,
Spencer's
"Is that a wiener?"
I literally my stomach hurt. I'm like, I think that's a wiener. I can't tell. I don't know why. I don't know. It just popped up in my head. That's
8
like a
years
core
old.
memory.
Do you think if you
Sean's
saw
coming
that
out
as an
story.
adult now, do you think if you saw that now at 24, you'd still be freaked out?
Yeah, I think I'd throw up. Just
Is Spencer
from
still open
sheer-
at Dover Mall?
I think so. I haven't been there in like 2 years. I think so.
It is one
Pretty
of
sure.
the lone rangers of survival.
It's like,
if it is.
yeah, it's Spencer's, Zoomies,
5
suit
suit
stores. Yeah.
So many. You can get
There's the
anything
eyebrow
upholstered
threading.
there.
And then the Walmart,
The national people do not care about this. We're
the
just shitting on
Walmart
on
truck
the
drivers training.
Oh yeah, that's
Well, I
always
think
interesting.
all malls have kind of fallen into the same pattern of they've become
Yeah.
senior walking facilities and just certain stores that hang around, but a lot of empty spaces. Ours has a movie theater. I think the movie theater is really the only thing keeping that thing trucking.
Man,
'Cause
that movie theater sucks though.
I haven't been to the mall for any reason other than go to Dick's Sporting Goods.
You know what
and
I
then
was-
I don't have to go into the physical mall. I just walk into Dick's, walk out of it.
Yeah,
I went to the
so true.
mall last year to try and buy a suit because I found out it had 6 suit stores and I could not find a suit there.
No?
I ended up having to go get one at Rehoboth at the outlets.
Why?
They were just all awful. The selection was bad.
They're a bit audacious. It's like bright reds and speckles, and it's not like traditional suits. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But the psychological aspect of that
Yeah, back on track.
is people are changing. Tech is shifting. Malls are emptying. Except for the Christiana Mall. Christiana Mall seems to be popping.
Yeah, they're good.
And I've heard the Mall of America, a little north of us, is still popping. But the world is shifting. The world is changing, as we mentioned a lot in our last episode. So Sean wanted to talk more about the psychological aspects of what we're going through right now.
Yeah, and I think it's more of on consuming content and understanding what you're consuming and being aware of how you can be like propagandized, of how you can feel emotions through things that are meant to make you feel a certain way. So let's just start real quick. I actually want to start with a little exercise for you guys. And this does tie into what we're talking about. So mental and emotional energy, you see a million things a day, and it's hard to not be upset with what's happening, whether it be the war or literally somebody just being shot on X or something like that. Like there's a lot happening on the internet and it sucks. But being able to understand that there's only so much energy you have, and I actually wanted to get into this, is knowing your bias. Everybody has a bias, whether you realize it or not. And it's good to understand what gets a rise out of you, what doesn't, and knowing that moving forward when you're consuming content. So I want to start with a little exercise for you guys, and that is this picture of this guy right here, this unhoused man smoking a cigarette. When you guys see this, what do you think about him? Like, what do you assume about this guy?
Bro's living, bro.
I see he's got a special K box in his car. Is that his car?
I assume so.
Yeah. He's been working. He's out there on the grind.
So, Joe, you're saying he's working on the grind. He's still
look,
surviving.
he's out there collecting stuff.
I think he's on drugs.
You think he's on drugs?
Yeah. I think that's kind of a natural position of people that get home. I mean, if I was homeless and didn't have anything to do all day, I think drugs would look a lot more appealing as well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair
You're
take.
trying to escape the world.
Yeah.
The world sucks around you.
Yeah, and then I know you Joe brought up the other day about him buying a cigarette for somebody, like an unhoused guy. and being like, hey, here's a cigarette just for that. And it's like I don't see that as a terrible thing. Like, obviously cigarettes are bad for you. You shouldn't smoke cigarettes, but it's like, of all the, like, we have our forms of entertainment and distractions, like whether it be social media or watching your favorite TV show or South Park. And like, in this sense, it's like we're giving him a cigarette, and in the relation of things out of what he could be taking or doing.
It's just another, it's another vice. It's another distraction.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of what we do. Like, even watching a college basketball game is like a form of entertainment distraction. May not be as detrimental to your health as a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same deal.
And so when you look at this, you have assumptions.
Do you want to know a really crazy, well, not crazy, but just like a cool take about homeless people? You know Caesar Milan?
No.
So
the dog guy.
The dog whisperer.
Yeah, the dog guy.
He had a show back
he was on
in
South
the day.
Park, right?
Caesar Milan was on South Park.
He probably
I think
was.
so.
He had a show back in the day called The Dog Whisperer. He was like the first like viral dog trainer, TV dog trainer.
Yeah, it is him. Yeah.
He did a podcast with Tom Segura once.
What
But
a crossover.
yeah. No, in it he says, if you ever see a homeless person with a dog, that's probably the happiest, best behaved dog you've ever met.
Whoa.
And then they were like, what? And they were like, dogs love to explore. They want to spend all the time with their pack. A homeless person's dog is always with their pack leader and always exploring. Like, it's the dog's perfect dream to have a human companion and live a vagabond lifestyle. And I was like, I would have never thought of it that way. It makes so much sense. And he was like, if you want to, like, for people who are like, how do I make my dog happier? I'm like, do everything you can to make your dog live with you as much as possible. And he would like tell people, treat your dog like you're homeless, and they'll be the happiest they've ever been.
What a wild
Go on a walk, let him follow you around off leash. Because he got famous in San Diego. He said he like came here illegally. He was an immigrant, and he got a job bathing dogs. He like loved dogs and walking dogs, and he became famous for the leashless dog walker in San Diego. And he got up to like 25 client dogs, and he walked all of them leashless around San Diego. So people were like, who's this crazy guy walking around with his dogs off leash all the time? And he was like, yeah, that's just how dogs work. If you know how they work, it's easy. So that was like how he blew up. I don't know. I just thought about that.
I had no clue. I guess I would throw one little wrench in that theory of like,
Put your dog's on a leash.
how, no, the homeless people and dogs. Just like, how's the dog getting fed?
Look at him. He's been collecting.
I mean, he's gonna eat something, I guess.
Yeah, but he has to eat.
Yeah. But I pull this up because everybody makes assumptions in some way, shape, or form. At my last job, it was an exercise we all had to do, and we had to write down what we thought about it and give it in. And people were saying, he's a lazy guy. He needs to get a job. Other people were saying he's a alcoholic or a drug addict. People were saying he's sad and lonely. And then other people said this is a sign of capitalism not working. Like, there's so many different ways you can go from looking at this and understanding that everybody has different viewpoints. You have your own viewpoint that you might be super passionate about. Just keep this in mind when you're going forward, when you're consuming content that you don't agree with or agree with, because there's confirmation bias and there's all sorts of biases in anything.
Right.
So,
Well, like,
I want to pull this up.
I get it.
Because I thought it was
It's like the
interesting.
content where people like go and they'll like find a homeless person and give him $500, and then the comments are always like,
yeah.
it's mostly people being
double-edged
like,
sword.
thank you for what you do, and then there'll people being like, stop taking advantage of homeless people for
Yeah.
content.
It is that's a weird one.
Ethics are fun.
It's a weird one.
That's.
Because it's like you're doing something nice for
Yeah.
somebody and it's good, but like, are you doing it out of like
Are
the
you
goodness of your heart?
documenting it because you want to look good?
He's got like 1 million cameras on him, different camera angles, professional cinematography, and yeah. That's another thing too.
It reminds me of the verse in the Bible where Jesus says, when you're giving to somebody else, let your left hand not know what your right hand is doing. Like, make it so private that nobody knows what's going on. Not even you know what's going on. You're just helping.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the same way. Like, I go on the cynical side when I see that stuff, but also like,
But
I'm
maybe
like, okay,
that
he's helping
motivates somebody else to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it motivates someone to
exactly.
do the
Like,
same thing.
There's exactly. So knowing your bias is important when moving forward. And this is a very loose graph, by the way. Like, we can really go into anything. We don't have to cover everything, but I really wanted to talk about that.
Well, let's just start with the bias thing because
Yeah.
I got
bias.
really into sports as a kid. Big into sports. My first word was ball. That was literally my first
No
word.
way,
Yeah,
really?
my first word was ball. I love sports. If I could kick it, I could throw it. I wanted it. And that led into also discovering I'm very competitive. And when you mix those two things, sports just works.
Mm-hmm.
So getting into sports would be my life all the way really up into my mid-20s. Nothing else really mattered. It was my family, it was a job, and it was sports. I would
And you had
watch
like a
it.
soccer league
Yeah, I owned
too.
a soccer league for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved sports. I loved
cool.
the competition of it. I loved the community of it. And I loved being better. I honestly, like, I just loved walking off of a court knowing we won. We did something to just show that we had the edge that day. I thought that was just, it was a fun thing to achieve. And I don't really get into like this politics thing until like I'm 29. And I'm 32 now, so still really young into the, like only a 3-4 year journey into what is politics. I didn't know how many senators there were, how to pass a bill. And so I walked into this with, I think, a different bias than people that were raised in politics. Like they were raised in a really red household or a really blue household or a divided household.
Yeah.
It was just a constant topic. Even with my parents, they didn't care, or at least they didn't talk about it. So I have a bias.
Yeah.
But I walked into it thinking, I don't have a bias. I don't have a bias. I wasn't raised in this. But that in and of itself is a bias.
Yeah.
Everybody has a bias. And I was very immature at that time for thinking, oh, I don't have a bias. Because everybody has a bias. It may not
I
be
wouldn't say you're immature. I just would say like you weren't informed on that
No,
stuff.
I would say at that point, yeah, maybe I wasn't informed on the definition of the word. But immature, ignorant toward what the word meant, thinking, oh, well, I don't have a bias. I don't have to worry about this, but we all have a bias. We see things in a moment and we think a specific direction because it matches with our ideology. It matches what we were raised on, or the confirmation bias. It matches up with something I already previously thought or knew to be true. A lot of that's going on right now with the news cycles.
Yeah. You are in an algorithm.
So
everybody is.
Yeah.
I
It's
did.
based off our bias.
I did like tech sales for a long time. So in sales, they talk about sales bias, right? So it's talking about what customers you should focus on. And so there's two types of customers. There's aware and completely unaware, like in a purchase process.
Yeah.
But then in aware, you have aware and interested. You have aware and uninterested. You have aware and indifferent. And then you have aware skeptic. So bias is stronger in the two extremes of interested and skeptic, right? So there's an interesting thing where if you have a product that can be bought multiple times, if you convert a skeptic, they're actually going to buy, it was like 4 or 5 times more in the long run than someone who was interested from the get-go. And the reason is because the process of building a memory or building something memorable is from being turned.
The conversion of that bias.
Exactly. Okay. So in sales, and it was a thing that they talked about a lot because they were like, yeah, selling to a skeptic is the hardest because you actually have to know what you're talking about. You actually have to do the process. Selling to an interested target is the easiest because they're going to fill in yeses for you that you don't need to. And so like for me, I grew up politically in a very conservative household. I told my dad did very well for himself. And I was raised to believe in like, the police are there for good. The government's taking care of people, blah, blah, blah. And I think because my childhood bias was these are things that are supposed to do good for us. And young adult, I was like, these guys seem really bad at doing good stuff for us. So like it flipped me to the point where I probably am more biased the other way because I was told this is how it should work. And then because I consistently saw and did it, it's like the opposite of a skeptic.
Yeah.
I had that flip of the page where people who in other households maybe were brought up and they're like, yeah, the government are crooks. Don't do anything the government says. They're probably less motivated by some of the corruption stuff going on in the government than people who believed in it because they've never believed in it. They're like, yeah, it's been like this the whole time. Why are you freaking out, bro?
Absolutely.
Because I believed in it heavy. I joined the Army straight out of high school, got right into overseas work in Afghanistan, defending the poppy fields, baby, making sure the Afghanis have their drugs, dude. That's what my job was. I was super down with we're the good guys.
Yeah.
We're bringing freedom. We're liberating. Yeah, that's a great point. Because then when that flips and you're like, wait a minute, that's not the case, or at least it doesn't seem to be the case, it does motivate more to dig in.
And we've talked about how like you get DMs and I have like 2 of my closest friends are African-American. And, you know, hearing from them is being like, yeah, you guys get it now. So, like, they almost seem immune to all this stuff because they're like, this has been my family's whole existence.
My best buddy, John,
definitely.
he a black guy, and he says the same exact thing. He's like, this is well known in a lot of the communities that have been ostracized and minimalized over decades. I mean, you're talking late 1800s promises of 40 acres and a mule over 100 years ago now. This is not a new story.
Yeah.
But, okay, so another bias.
Fun.
Boomers. A lot of the boomer bias that keeps them locked into where they've always been raised, in my opinion, and I think others have great takes on this, like Tim Dillon. He's hilarious when he goes on these rants. But if you're a boomer, you did not have to worry in the 70s if your one job was going to be enough to support your family, to get into a home, to get the white picket fence, raise 2 kids, have a dog, get a cat if you'd like. That's pretty non-American of a man to do, get a cat. But you were able to, and cats. Even if the CIA was lying, even if Vietnam wasn't what we were being told it was, because there's a lot of people who are older be like, yeah, the FBI's always lied. Like, you're cool with that?
Yeah.
You're all right with every president we've had has not been serving us? You're all right with that? But I think a part of the bias of them being like, maybe not all right with it, but indifferent to it, is they got a good life.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about it, so why should they?
Yeah, at least financially. And I think that's where also you get into people who push, well, why don't we go towards socialism? Why don't we look at what China's doing with communism? And I think there's room for the argument because you look at what's happening in China, and a lot of the mental health statuses are higher. More people own homes than in America at this moment. There's not as much money flowing around, but they seem richer by capita. But that's done via orchestration by the government. We don't want that. We want to be able to have this free trade economy where he who has the value can bring it and be compensated for it. I rock with that. But when it comes to mental health and it comes to people actually enjoying the life that they're in, it seems right now there's not enough pieces of pie to go around. And my bias is, or has been growing up, you get what you're worth. That's always been my bias.
Like, you work for your work.
You work for, yeah. You bring a skill set, you bring a piece of value. Like, I'll break it down to just the American dream. The American dream is that you can come into this country and without any previous knowledge, previous skill set, anything, you can walk in with just the clothes on your back, bring value to this country, and build up a life for yourself. That's the American dream. Is that really available today?
No.
Like, is that...
In some ways, yeah.
In some ways.
Because
Yeah,
I see it as like...
What in some ways?
We build corporate
I'll say this.
stakeholders. That's what we do.
Well, just like, I worked in sales and digital marketing. And so, like, there are people doing that now, but it's become more difficult and it's become more niche, right? So there's a lot of startups and people who are creating new generational wealth with AI products and companies.
That's
right
exactly
now,
where
right?
I was going to go with that.
Yeah, big tech. So it's harder, but like, you talk about our grandparents. Like, I think my grandparents served in the Marines, got out, got a job with DuPont, and they're like, yeah, we have this new material called corian. Go sell corian. Bet. Now they're like, figure out, like, I do digital marketing. So like the barrier of entry for like startup jobs now are like, we need you to be a social media manager and create all the content. We need you to figure out how to do meta ads. We need you to help 10x our business in the next 10 years. You need to grow 20% year over year in revenue streams coming from. And my grandfather, they're like, yeah, we got corian. We need you to go out and start selling corian.
Simpler.
Okay. They retired on a golf course with a $2 million house. That's what he did for 25 years. I think it's just like the everyday path has gotten harder.
Yeah.
And you know that because like CEO pay is 300x the bottom when it used to be 20x, all that stuff.
Like both of my
that's where my
grandpas
mind
worked
goes.
in industrial fields. One was in a factory making springs, like the actual springs for giant trucks.
Yeah.
That's all he
Coilings.
did. Coilings, yeah. He
Oh.
did that for, what did you say? Coiling?
I said boilings.
Oh, boilings. Yeah, I thought you said coilings to correct
Coilovers.
me. You said boilings.
I was about
Yeah.
to just let you go, but I was like, wait, I gotta tell
He
him.
made boilings for 27 years,
Sorry.
and his wife never had a job. They retired to one of the best retirement communities in America.
Sick.
And
They got what they were marketed.
yeah, that's the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
And I think when
Yeah.
it comes to like places like China, we look from the outside looking in like, how could you live like that? And they're like, well, my life is pretty decent. You know, I don't have to worry about some of the stuff that you guys are worrying about. And I only
an
know those
ambulance.
from my connections on Red Note.
And then we're like,
Chinese TikTok.
and then we're
Yeah.
like, have you driven through Ellendale recently?
Talking to you, Jeff.
And biases, just to keep rounding, because we could spend 2 hours just talking about biases.
Yeah, we could, and we can if we want to. I mean,
Well, what's
I'm liking
is
Take
that-
us further down your ladder, Sean.
Yeah, I guess my question, and wherever you want to take this, host Sean, are we in a mission to eliminate biases that are untrue in people or inform people so they can shift their biases? Or is the mission not to shift biases at all and really just to bring truth and let people do with it as they please? Like, what's the mission? What brings change, I guess?
I think the biggest two things that come to mind for me is having an open mind and having empathy. Coming into things
Empathy's a weakness, though.
like, okay, Elon.
Joking.
But seriously, like, there's so many ways I can go with it. My brain is going crazy, but I feel like right now in this
you're
podcast,
in college class for this right now.
what? Oh,
Yeah, this is fresh in your brain.
It's just like, I mean, I think people should be comfortable with speaking their mind and communicating with each other and having differences and being able to talk in a civilized manner about things we disagree on. But I think it's also going into it knowing and being open to hearing both sides of the argument, no matter what you look at. Like this picture of the unhoused guy, like we look at this and we should be able to understand that people are going to have different opinions, whether we disagree with it or not. But knowing that like this guy is a human, he has value, he's a person, whether he's lazy or not, this is a person, whether we know it or not. And I think going into the mindset of having empathy in whatever we're talking about and viewing it from different angles and information-wise, like whatever you're seeing on the news, fact-checking it, making sure you know where they're getting this information from, surveys, understanding how they're doing the surveys, because there's bias in that. And I think just keeping an open mind and not shutting it all out, but just being able to understand that people are going left and right, up and down, trying to pull you one way or the other in their echo chamber of whatever information it is. And this is a very long answer, but I'm just like,
no, dude.
There's so many
Sean's
ways you can
literally
go
just
about it.
venting his experience in life right now.
It's
He's
crazy.
like, there's so much shit. What is going on?
I'm
like,
I don't know which one of you guys said
That'll
it.
be in the intro.
That right there is going to be in the intro.
That's going to be in the intro for every episode.
But like I was at the point where like I grew up in a similar household where it was like very conservative, and I grew up in like disagreeing with my family on a lot of the issues, but not saying anything because it was like, no, you believe this way or you don't, you know? And growing up, like I got to the point where I'm like, I don't even care about politics anymore because my parents are saying this, but I believe in this, and I don't even feel like looking into it because it's just like, I don't care. Like I'm in this house, I'm going to live here in this house and not cause any issues. But it wasn't until like, what were you going to say?
No.
No, I was just saying it got to the point where I was like, I have to look into this because people around me that I love and care about are actually like upset about stuff that's happening. And then I got into it, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, damn, this all still sucks. Like, this is crazy.
You did your own research.
Yeah.
And whichever result you come to, there's an amazing mature step that's being done, and just simply you're stepping out to say whatever opinion's being thrust upon me is somebody else's or a combination of a bunch of other people's and experiences. What's mine?
Right.
And if more people did that, combined with that magical word you said, empathy. Because, like, bringing up this man, is there a term? I don't know if there's a term for it, for like a blanket bias. Because for this guy,
Just a generalization, I guess.
yeah, like for this guy, there is a chance that he was a druggie and that he was lazy and never got a job and then fell on hard times because
He could
of
be
that.
a model just posing.
It could be a model just posing, and this
Yeah.
is just for a picture for media. Like,
This is art.
but is there is it okay to have that blanket bias based on maybe a statistic, but then also having the empathy to realize that not every person falls in under that blanket bias? Like like I will give an example. Like the majority of athletes aren't fat because they're running and they're burning calories, and a lot of times they'll end up eating better and they're hanging out with other athletes. But just because I see somebody that's in shape doesn't necessarily mean they play sports.
Right.
It's not necessarily a correlation, but there is a majority factor.
Is someone that you think's not in shape subjectively? That's your opinion.
Correct. Yeah.
Could
Well,
be
there are
could be
objective
really
facts to
could be
being in
really
shape.
good at sports.
They're objective. Some of the most absolutely not looking in shape people can do some incredible. Like I know my boy, I won't say his name, but like literally can just do backflips at a whim, and he's like 150 pounds overweight.
I know what you're talking about.
I was like, how's your body do that? How does that happen? But the blanket bias, I think, is an easy place for our brain to go.
I have a blanket bias.
Of what?
Like, I just think like all the whites are cringe.
I have something similar. I have an issue with old people sometimes. Like I look at old people and I get a little mad because I'm just like, I'm sure they may or may not have worked for whatever they have, but I look at you and I'm like, you had it so much easier than me. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. That's a bias. But I'm just like, you have a nice house. Good for you.
I don't know. I get.
You know what you should do though? Start living like old people.
How?
Because put
Can't
yourself
go to the
in their
beach.
shoes. Be like, cell phone. How does this thing work? Just do that for a month. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, watch CNN just like every morning for a month.
I don't know if I want to do that to myself.
Like, don't play any video games. Read some books. Like, think what was life like in the 70s. Then do that for a month, and then I feel like you'll get them more.
It's like I gotta go to like the town office and deliver my check. For
Dude,
my
you
bills.
want to know what the biggest one is? My mom was like this when I was a kid. I remember when I was really little. My mom would always chat up people at the grocery store. I feel like that was a normal thing back in the day.
Sure.
And now, like, the retail experience has changed and is so automated. Most of us order stuff online. Like, if you talk to, like, a gas station clerk, they're, like, shocked you're talking to them.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very true.
I do it.
Very true.
I, like, talk to people all the time. My wife gives me shit sometimes because she's always like, why do you mess with people like that? And I was like, I'm just having a conversation.
Are you messing
Just
with
trying to
them?
be nice to my neighbors.
I miss that part of society. Where
Yeah.
it was normal to talk to normal.
Do that
Hey,
for
Bobby.
a month.
Hey, what's going on?
Do that for a month and see if you feel differently about them. Because maybe you're just like, you know what? Life is that simple. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm taking it too seriously.
No, I think that's valid, especially talking to people. Like even like that. Like when we were at Chipotle the other day, like just talking to the dude, like, hey, how you doing, man? Like having a busy day.
Yeah. I've been doing this thing forever where I bartend a little bit. I like restaurants. They're cool. If a server doesn't tell me their name, I go, what's your name?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll try to call them by their name and they come over, I'll be like, thank you, whatever. But like, and it's like 9 out of 10 times they'll be like, oh, that was nice. They'll like smile. And then like 1 out of 10 times they'll be like, no problem. And I'll be like, oh, this person doesn't want to live this life.
I'll offer.
But it's a little thing that I think like, for me, it like makes me connect with people and like be more grounded in reality.
Well, it's like
instead of like
Sonder.
being on my phone at the table
You guys
and
know what
stuff like
Sonder
that.
is?
Sonder?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's everybody's living their own life and they have their own problems, issues, families.
Oh,
goals.
yeah, true.
Like the fact that everybody's their
is that
own
like
person.
a feeling?
It's a term.
Okay.
I mean, I think I guess you could
Because
say
I
it's a
feel a
feeling.
lot
I
of
thought it was a
Sonder
band.
when I'm at the airport.
Yeah, that's true.
When I'm at the
Yeah.
airport, that feeling smacks me in the
Yeah.
face of everybody here has a life.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone here has a bias. Everyone here has
Yeah.
a problem. Everyone here has something going on with their family, good or bad. There could be a death that happened yesterday for them. They could be
Yeah.
headed to somebody's funeral. They could
Yep.
be headed to a new life that they're scared of. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much going on. And it makes, I don't know, it kind of simultaneously makes my own issues feel a lot smaller. But at the same time, kind of zooms out that a lot of these problems are affecting everybody.
Yeah.
And our own personal issues can be almost not almost, it can be many distractions for our own life to not focus on these big issues because we got so many issues going on our own. And that's where I kind of get the compassion for the older side. And we've talked about this because
Yeah.
from the 60s and the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way through before phones and before internet,
Yeah.
they're getting hit with mass media only, newspaper, radio, TV.
Dude,
I've got
Constantly.
Yeah. My
And
my
now-
take has changed a little
Right,
bit.
and now
with
these
that.
65-year-olds, they don't have any more neuroplasticity. Their brain can't shift anymore. Their brain is locked in, and you're coming here talking
Crystallized.
about baby eating, like, elites?
Well,
Look at the TV, Nancy. What's
going
going on?
on?
Are you on that
Dude.
phone? You need to get off the internet. It's like, I get that. They're like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
going to
fair.
playfully and lovingly make fun of your dad for a minute.
My dad?
Yes.
Jeff.
Because your dad, like, I mean, he's that thing. Like, he was in the Air Force for 25 years. Like, he was
22.
involved in the mainstream. Like, that was his news. And, you know, when he was a kid, he was like, oh, my God, Central America, they got malaria, you know?
He was from Arkansas, definitely said that. I don't know if he knew the word malaria before the age of 18.
He was like, oh,
Had to
you go
spell
down there and drink the water, you'll freaking die.
You'll poop a lot.
But then, like, last year, he went to Costa Rica, came back, and he was like, guys, it was the most incredible experience of my life. Made me realize how silly we are. Like, as soon as he goes and experiences the thing, he's like, it was
Yeah.
incredible.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
locked into our own American experience because a lot of things we're talking about, it's like, it's not optional. You can't just not work. You can't just not have a smartphone because most jobs won't even take you if you're not available 24/7 in some way. If you're not able to log on to the Google Meet call.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have a car, if you don't have a
That's a
house,
big
if you
one.
don't have a lot of items that are necessities in this life, you can't perform as a citizen in this country. And because all those things are becoming increasingly more expensive, it's forcing people to think, what is this American life I'm living that I'm having to scrounge and grind and double take jobs and work at Uber, delivering people left and right, delivering DoorDash burritos just to get my rent paid?
Yeah.
I think that's where people start to look at what's going on.
It gets harder.
It's
too.
easy not to look at what's going on when things are going well.
It gets harder too, and the people in charge, like 4 days a week, you're like, they're golfing again. I haven't done that in 6 months. How does he find the time?
I'd love to go golf though.
But you bringing up the compassion thing, like I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and me and her kind of have like super different takes on it because I'm like when I'm in here, I think last time we talked about it, I was very like, no, like they're kind of dumb, like they need to do their own research. But like I was talking to her and I'm like, I feel like we need some more, like we need to like peel back the layers and understand why they're there and how they got there. And it's because of the mass media, what they've seen over the years and everything like that.
Yeah, what they've been told.
Yeah, and it's like, anyway, at the end of the conversation, it's just like, I still just feel so bad for them in that way that they've never had the opportunity, like they've never been able to like go towards an independent media. It's always been talk radio shows, which are very, very super biased. Try listening to one of those if you haven't in a while.
92.7 Delaware.
Jesus Christ, yeah. And then like, Fox News, CNN, and like, they're all just like, CNN and Fox especially, like they're just distractions and they're fighting
psyops.
each other and like
They're all psychological operations.
and that's the next part of our thing here.
Yeah, they want you to tune into their channel.
Distractions.
Yeah, they want you to tune into them. They want this emotional reaction.
Yeah.
Because
And,
you
like-
talk about emotion, that's what locks in memory.
Yeah.
Emotion locks in memory. That's why I can't remember shit because my ADHD, I don't be releasing as many chemicals when I leave my keys somewhere. But what do you got pulled up?
In the
My bad.
toilet. Sorry, not to show you up. But
You ever do the keys?
so, guys, he
You ever
flushed
do the
his
keys in the
keys down the
fridge?
toilet one time.
Bring up the fact that I flushed my keys. It had nothing to do with my memory. It was poor timing. It was poor timing. Someone called me as I was peeing. I was finished up peeing. I went to go pull my phone out as I was
Back-
done
real
with
quick.
my other hand.
Real quick.
And my keys came out as it flushed, and he went down the toilet. And we lost it.
No.
Sorry, dude.
That was a horrible defense. Saying you were answering a phone while peeing, psychotic behavior.
I was done peeing. It was actively flushing.
We might have to cut this,
Actively
guys.
flushing, and I was like
Call
getting a
back.
call.
Wash your hands, bro.
It was with my other hand. You pee with both hands?
Sometimes.
Hey, maybe you do. So I'm a no-hander at this point.
No comment. Wait, what? Okay. Anyway, but we can see here. So CNN posted it's really hard to read, by the way, an article talking about how Mamdani had a potential makeshift bomb near his house. And CNN posted something.
Can
and
I read
guess,
it for you?
What's that?
Can I read it for you?
No, I can read it a little better.
Heard.
But pretty much and we don't have to like read it, but CNN posted something first, a title that wasn't super accurate, I guess, and they fixed it within the first 5 minutes after releasing it. And then Fox saw that they, I guess, made a mistake reporting it, and they were like, CNN is torched over bizarre post about, about them throwing bombs at the New York City protests. And this is
and the CNN article says what we know about the two terror suspects accused of tossing makeshift bombs near the New York.
And this is
City
after
area.
they fixed it.
What was
this
the
is
original?
I don't remember. I'm sure we could read this and figure it out.
Okay.
But the point is that, like, regardless of whatever it was, they're fighting each other. Like, Fox is shitting on CNN for doing that, and then CNN is reporting stuff that's not 100% true. And it's just like, you see this, and it's like, there's clearly something wrong. Like, these are two giant business enterprises that are designed to get your attention and take as much money and attention from you as possible. That's what these are. These aren't news broadcasts. These are entertainment platforms. Like, yes, they're news, but you just got to go in knowing, like, these people just want your attention, just like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these other things. They're all fighting for your attention, for your money. They're all to suck you in. So it's like, it's really important that when you see this stuff, you go through these things that we talked about it last time, is a term we accidentally came up with, is having a brain bath. Like, take a break from the news after you read it. Like, don't ignore it, but read it, try to understand it, fact check, and take some time to chill out, whether that's meditating, reading, going for a walk,
Doing
getting
a
in
puzzle.
nature, doing a puzzle. Yeah, because like if you look up here, just on the Fox News thing, like you can get stuck in a loop of just going down terrible information of like stuff that just sucks your soul out.
And that's on MSNBC,
Yeah.
CNN.
CNN has a bunch of
Forbes,
stuff over here,
anything.
like-
I watch Forbes just for and like Bloomberg for the
Yeah.
financial side of things, and you could see the bias there. All social, not social, and I should be careful saying all, but most have this
A popular
formula
chunk.
of align, enrage, repeat.
Yeah.
Write an article that aligns with the main base that's going to be bringing in that information, utilize it in some way to enrage them against the opposite of that thought process, and repeat.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep people in the cycle of believing they're completely aligned with the truth and that there's an enemy that they can be enraged against, which 99 times out of 100 is your fellow citizen. It's not the actual enemy. And you just keep that repeating, and that repeating comes through the algorithms.
Yeah.
The algorithms can just keep showing it and showing it and showing it. And I think the problem that comes with people like the Ellisons buying up social media platforms now and Bibi Netanyahu referring to TikTok as the eighth front of their war is, are we going to start seeing that same effect that affected the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s now come over to social media, where we're not getting truly independent journalism and we're not really actually connecting? And it's just another version of this selective agree, enrage, repeat.
Right. And that's why I feel like people like you and independent journalists are so important right now more than ever. And obviously, every journalist also has like a certain bias or leaning towards one way or the other. That's why like there has to be like some sort of design in taking in information and just understanding that, like just that there's both. You're getting pulled some way or the other.
Yeah, the alignment thing is interesting to me because I think it also comes down to from the person giving the information, whether it's independent journalism or Fox and CNN, is what's the motivation? Like we talk about this all the time in any moment. Like sit over your own 2 feet, and when you're feeling something, why are you feeling it?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that pit in your stomach when someone called you and said that thing? You know,
Where do you feel it?
Why is it when someone cut you off you felt enraged? You know, why exactly? You have these emotional codes in your brain. What set it off and why? And where did that come from? And what was the pattern? And how can you maybe interrupt it? Because when it comes to a bias, the bias a lot of times what we see on social media is they want their ego satisfied. And by bringing about the information that aligns with the group that's going to tell them they're right and pump them up, they're getting their ego fed by bringing that information to light. And so they're going to keep continuing to do it. And I think where we maybe aren't different, but I think align with maybe the quote unquote proper direction, is our bias is we want people to know the truth. We want people to know what's actually going on without hearsay, without conjecture, and just talk about the article, talk about the sources. What does this mean for humanity? What's the overarching bigger picture? Because, dude, I think there's a point where you get deep enough in the rabbit hole that you hit the bottom, and you just kind of feel bad for everyone that's in this system.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you get struck with compassion and empathy for the people that are subject to this orchestrated system of anger.
Yeah.
And it sucks because we literally have one life. And it's being wasted as a cog in so many different
Being used for
capitalistic and
hate.
emotional systems for some group of people to have more power and more money. And that stinks. That really stinks. And yes, it stinks to have a boomer in your comment section or at the grocery store, or even your own mom or dad. You know, it's like, and it's like, dog, why are you so angry? Why are you so angry?
Brother, that's a question I wish could be answered.
For me, yeah, I guess.
And there's room to be angry on things for sure. It's an emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
But where's
Anger
the
is
emotion?
okay.
Where's the emotion coming from? What are you angry at?
Yeah, where's that bias come from, and who are you stereotyping? And like it's like a slippery slope, because if you don't know your bias, that leads down to stereotyping and then racism and then prejudice and all this other stuff. Like it's like a nasty.
Let's
little
call it
slip.
what it is. Bias is linked to identity, and
Like your own personal identity,
right?
Yeah.
Or the identity you've been assigned. Because many people, if you were to say, if politics and sports and your job were to disappear, who are you? If you were to take away those three major components, a lot of people don't have a straight answer.
Wow, I
And
never thought about it like that.
So what is your identity? There's a book called The Untethered Soul. It says the whole purpose in life this is in the first chapter. I was like, whoa. The whole purpose of life is to figure out the purpose of your unmarked soul.
Yeah.
Before anybody influenced you, before any community, school, sports team, teacher, parent, stranger, professor, workplace influenced your decision-making and thought process, who are you and what's your purpose on this earth? And a lot of us are just encompassed in these my identities, which are exterior. They're not your real identity. They're just exterior stimuli that we align with. And the problem is the system's designed these blue and red alignment pieces, these pre-packaged belief systems for you to fall into, and they're pre-positioned to fight against each other.
Yeah.
It's purposeful. Which team are you on? If you're on this one, that's your enemy. If you're on this one, that's your enemy. And it causes hatred, but it's not your real identity.
Yeah.
It's not who you really
It's
are.
the identity that society's made up.
Correct. And you're assigning yourself to it as an individual, but it's not you. It's not Roger. It's not Ferdinand. It's not Barbara.
Yeah.
It's the identity that you've encompassed yourself in, which is a created identity that they want you to be a part of, because then you're controllable.
And it's easier too, as like an individual person, to
Area
just
men
sum up
are
an entire
discovering
group of people.
sociology right now.
Area men?
I said a couple of area men are discovering sociology right now.
But it's easy to sum up an entire group of people than understand the uniqueness of every person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's easy to be like, oh, the left are a bunch of blah, 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 and the right are a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like, there's people in there. Like, there are real people who have their own issues, their own biases, their own everything. And until we can understand that, we're just going to keep fighting each other.
Well, demonizing someone else is so much easier than looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to be on the side of I'm in the right, they're in the wrong, and just sticking with that alignment rather than any personal work, any self-development, any listening.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a where you put your energy thing, right? So like the fight or flight instinct. When things are tense, you don't know what's going to happen. What's your instinct? To fight against something that is giving you friction or to leave to a place that's more comfortable? I think it's the same thing with like what you're talking about, things that upset you in the world or in the media. Are you spending time fighting things that you don't like and you think are wrong and telling boomers that they owe you money and blah, blah, blah? Or are you aligning yourself with people who are like empathetic and want to create more good for the world? Are you fighting or flying to something that's a little bit more at your speed? Because like you could do either, you could do both. But I think a lot of people, and Zach, no offense to like your community, I think you're finding a lot of people that are just like, somebody who gets it, is trying to help out, but they're not like militant out there like shit posting on politicians' pages or whatever. And there is a group of people like that. So they're spending to use their energy to be like, JD Vance is a ugly, smelly pig boy. I don't know. I don't know what insults are like today. But it's just where you invest your energy. Because like that's like when you're thinking about identity, for me, it's like I'm just trying to be aligned with people who like want to take care of each other, want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Life's too short to take so seriously that you're freaking out or stressed the whole time. And, you know, when I was younger, when I was into politics, I did like 10 years ago, I was the opposite. When Trump was first running, I was on Facebook like, you're a dumb idiot, you know? You just kind of got to pick your path.
To who? Who were you saying that to?
Strangers, coworkers, my uncle.
Who's your uncle voting for?
Dude, my mom's parents were like fourth generation farmers. Her whole family voted for that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's really taking care of the farmers.
They're
It really is.
Hell
He's
He's
doing
really
a good
taking
job.
care of the farmers.
Hell yeah.
Well, let me offer a devil's advocate.
No.
His favorite, Zach likes to be the devil.
It's hard to enjoy that group that you've created, because I think everybody, if they were to think of their life as like, if I could have a group of 6 to 10 individuals I could rely on, I can call in a tough time, we can go out and enjoy ourselves. This is the group that's at every social gathering, your people. Like when I was in...
Find your people, don't change the people.
Amen.
It takes so much more work to change people to fit you than to just say, yeah, that.
Like I saw a group when we were in Colorado. We got stuck in Montana in a small town because me and my dad were trying to go see Old Faithful, and we couldn't get there because the roads were shut down. You needed a snowmobile. We were not dressed to go on a snowmobile. So we stuck at this little bar, little 900 people town, a lot of tourists. And There was this one group that came in, bunch of old heads, looked like they just got done snowmobiling, like 8 of them, and they just looked like a group that had been together for years, just doing things. And I think that's what every young person wants, is that small community, that locally focused, doesn't really care about all the whack stuff. But devil's advocate is, even if you were to find that, you're still operating in the overarching system.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
You're distracting
constricting your
yourself a
group,
little bit.
changing your group. Yeah.
So I think that's where people get held up, is even if I do find that, everything that is an issue is still an issue. And finding that group is harder today than it was then.
So hard, dude. I feel like all the dudes I meet my age are just like assholes.
Why is it hard to find, and maybe that's my own bias, maybe it's completely incorrect, but why is it seemingly harder for young men to find that that group?
I think it could be like a Delaware thing too, more than anything. I think a lot of the men my age in Delaware are Republican more often than not.
Well, just Sussex County.
Or like that side.
Would
Like,
you have
like
a hard
just
time
super
being friends
far
with a
on that
Republican?
side.
We're actually a very progressive state.
Mostly,
but
yeah,
it's-
I probably
it's
would.
mostly up north.
Personally, I would.
Right.
Because
Well,
it depends on their values.
we
You know?
did,
Like, if they're a decent person and they are on the same wavelength of having empathy towards people, yeah.
We did a couple of.
But more
Yeah,
often
'cause
times
my
than
two
not,
best
they're
friends
not.
are Republican, and I would probably, even though that thing said I leaned more on the libertarian.
No, we did
like,
two
yeah.
different
I think you
political
lied,
tests
political
yesterday, and we found out that Sean might be a Chinese propagandist.
Surprise, guys! Surprise!
Jesus.
He was left.
I'm probably more on the conservative side for a lot of things. Economically, I definitely lean left on a lot, but
But because historically the left has been better at the economy, continue.
to an extent, I could
Because
argue on that, but
historically
that's
we've
not
been
the
a lot
topic.
better at the economy. Keep going.
Well, the Democrats have. Never mind.
Guys, we're gonna fight on.
All
the
we did was
podcast.
Glass-Steagall. You guys did the rest of them.
And Citizens United.
But it was still the justices.
Here
They've
we
been
go.
there forever. They're old, you know.
That okay, 100%. You brought that up. That's why I don't get into the blue red president
Conservative
thing,
justices.
because it's about justices. It's about the court system. It's about who's in Congress. It's about the elite lobbying. It's about a lot more than just who's the head figure. But again, not to knock your point, but is that what's holding back a lot of our community, is not being able to step across the line
Well,
and befriend somebody who has differing beliefs?
I think it's more on like I'm friends with like everybody, and I'm definitely friends with a lot of like conservatives already and Republicans because I'm in the firehouse all the time talking to people.
Yeah, volunteer fireman Sean.
That's early onset Republican. He's converting, guys.
I don't think there's many staunch 20-year firefighters that are Democrat.
I don't
That's
think
a
so.
very true point.
I don't think so.
But then
I don't
there's a,
think that
but
is-
then
But, like,
there's a
my-
firefighters union. So what is it, fellas? Which is it?
Yeah,
What-
yeah,
I'm about to
yeah.
say, what's more socialism than being able to call a line and a bunch of
Ex-
trained men in trucks can
exactly.
show
They're
up
like,
to save your house?
exactly, dude. That's another
Only-
thing
That's a
I
pretty
always think
socialistic
about.
factor in our.
There's
in
so
our
many people that wake up
capitalism.
at like 2 a.m. to go to a fire that's probably not even there. Like they get out of their own beds to do that, and half the time I don't, which I need to do more of. But all that being said, like
Don't have a fire at 2 a.m.
Classic.
Yeah, please don't.
Sean will not be there.
especially after a long night. But if I'm talking to somebody and like if we can debate and stuff and have a civil conversation, cool, let's do it. But if we still talk and you're still like I don't know, I think it's more of like Christian nationalism than anything. Like, cause I'm
Sure.
friends with a lot
That's
of
what you've been, locked
like that's
in
my big issue with more times than not, because I feel like a lot of the things that they're saying are like, I don't want to say not important, but like stupid in the grand scheme of things.
Like what?
More oftentimes than not, like using Jesus as a way of controlling women's bodies. I don't agree with that whatsoever at all. But they love saying that. They love saying that, like, this is God's creation, you're killing it. And it's just like, why are you trying to tell a woman what to do?
Dude, I could pick apart.
And we can't find a middle ground because it's religious. Like they're picking a Bible quote and they're sticking with it. There's no middle ground.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of the things that it's like you can't find a middle ground on.
And it's hard because there's really not much of a middle ground because it's life or death.
Yeah.
In a big sense, because the conservative, staunch conservative, maybe Christian nationalists would say, well, you're killing, you're murdering a baby.
I think a lot of my examples of Republican men are not good examples. So
There you go.
maybe this is where this all
Sussex
stems
County.
from. Like a lot
You
of
know,
them are
I've-
not cool, not empathetic.
We've been following the top dog Republican men. They don't seem so great either right now.
No, they
A lot of the
don't.
top dog Republican men are funded by foreign entities and lobbyists that push them in directions that don't align with the Bible.
Yeah.
And the Bible,
And then people still support that. Like people, like
because
people
they
around
think it's
us
true.
do it.
They think it's true.
Yeah, and like that's just I'm like, dude, we need to get.
we
need to
just
get
watched
you
Ted
further. We need
Cruz
to
say
get you
that the word
further.
Christ is King is an anti-Semitic slur.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy
That's
thing to
so
say.
insane. That's
Sean,
so dumb.
you got to watch. More Perfect Union did a documentary about going to a county in Kentucky, I think it was,
With
or
Bernie
Tennessee.
Sanders? Bernie Sanders, or is that another one?
No, it's a county that voted Democrat like since the 50s,
Oh,
longer
I
than
watched
anyone
that
else,
one.
and then they flipped to Trump,
Oh, okay.
and then they flipped back last election. So he goes and he's like, it's a really like podunk rural community. It's a small county.
Yeah.
And he goes and like interviews all the citizens there, and he's like, "Tell me about the history of the town. Why'd you vote Democrat forever? Why'd you switch?" It could be cool. Because the reason I bring that up, I think the litmus test of average knowledge by age has changed rapidly without people realizing it. What I mean by that is like people don't have like I meet 25-year-olds. I'm 36, so I'm not much older, but like I meet 25-year-olds and like in conversations I'm like, is this guy still a kid mentally or is he an adult now? Like where has he been? Cuz so much of our development for the world is self-chosen now. It's not taught effectively in public schools. And unless you go to college and you really focus in on learning about the community and the culture and government, you don't really know that stuff. And especially in rural communities, people who opt out of college and like go get a job as a server or, you know what I mean, working in construction. Like, what are they doing in their free time? Going home and playing video games? They are not developing emotionally.
100%. Well,
That's what I'm saying, though. So when you're like,
bring up.
when you say like, oh, you know, all these Republican men that I meet down here are you know, they're jerks or assholes. Two of my closest friends down here are really right Republicans, and I've had intense conversations with them where I'm like, you just need to explain it from a way where like your opinion isn't, I don't care about other people. Because if you say that's it, fair, you've beat me. You're allowed to have that viewpoint.
And that's what happens more times than not. Like,
Yeah. So, and it's a finding your people, but we're still friends. And like when we talk about stuff, like I'm still 95% aligned with them.
that part. That
Like
part.
we're so much closer than they think, and then
That part.
probably they think I am to them.
yeah.
And I went out for St. Patrick's Day parade in Milton, little local townie, you know, hanging out with the community.
Well, that's
but-
this week, isn't it? Next week?
It was last weekend.
I miss St. Patrick's Day.
I just went. No, St. Patrick's this weekend. Milton does it the week before because they don't want to compete with beach traffic.
Oh, smart.
Some local tourism, economic stuff for you guys learning about Delaware. You're welcome.
You want to move here?
But I was talking to the guy, and one of my good friends, he's very, very Christian, raised Baptist. He was homeschooled. He's one of like 9 kids. So
Whoa.
paints a picture for you. And it was funny. He said to me very seriously, he was like, you know, I think you're going to find Jesus. He was like, the way you talk and the way you live, like you are perfect for a Christian. And I was like, I was raised in the church. And I was like, I think you're actually really close to being just like me. You're really close to being like, they're not doing it. I have to do this on my own. And I was like, because for me, the transformation I made in believing in God and religion is I was like, okay, if I believe this and I'm wrong, it's irrelevant. And I was just made some people uncomfortable pushing them on it in my life. If I say he probably doesn't exist and I'm wrong, what a happy accident when I'm dead. I'm still doing everything I can to give people take care of people the best I can while I'm on earth. That's the goal. And I was like, that's all I needed. I didn't need a purpose when I'm dead to do that. And he was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But he's very like, this is the way you need to be saved. And I'm like, it is so irrelevant to human
Christian
life.
nationalism, to your point.
But then our values with the people around us are almost the same. So that was my whole point is we're so much closer than we think. But when you put your identity in like the entity you believe in or your job, that's what divides you from people.
Well, it's like even talking with somebody, like I remember when I'm big into sports, if I talk to someone who's like, yeah, I don't really follow sports, I was completely now uninterested in that person because I felt like they did not share an identity.
Oh, you don't
quality.
ball?
Yeah, you don't know ball? I felt like they didn't share a quality that I deemed extremely important. So when, you're saying, when I die, I believe there's an eternity with a 4-dimensional being who came down to earth to rapture him or to
Who knocked up a teenager.
who crucified himself. God would have, yeah. He used Abraham's seed, but different theological discussion. I kind of view it the same way of if I'm a Christian and I live the life that Christ laid out, the values that he portrayed, and I take the steps that he maybe would have taken, or at least try to, we all fall. Nobody's able to completely be perfect. If I live that lifestyle and I die and Buddha's standing there, I'm gonna be like, well, I was kind. I loved my neighbor. I tried to do my best to improve people around me. And I think Buddha will be like, yeah, he's a pretty decent guy. But you nailed the point with Christian nationalism, because there's so many people who use Christ as an excuse for not doing anything, because it's, well, God puts people in leadership so we can't question him. That stinks. Jesus is coming back, so I'm just going to wait for Jesus. Or if you don't accept Jesus as a part of your life, my entire life's goal is to get you to convert.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're wrong. And those three things are just not what the Bible taught. Jesus never walked around in his 33 years on earth. It was like, yo, you got to believe me right now, right now, right now, right. You're going to go to hell. Hurry now. Never did that. Never, ever did that. Doesn't even touch on abortion. Doesn't touch on gay marriage.
Dude,
it's mentioned in the Bible.
Did they have abortion?
Yeah, and I'm doing research on that.
Say again?
Did they have abortion back then?
They did. They did.
Oh.
In fact, it's mentioned in a couple of the Old Testament pieces. It even talks about if somebody were to punch a woman in the stomach and the baby were to die too, like what's supposed to happen to that guy. And it talks about that stuff, but it's not a humongous topic. It's not a humongous subject matter. But yeah,
It's almost like it didn't matter. They didn't really care.
and there's
It's like they would have wrote about it if they did.
But, and I will say this too, like a lot
and I
of
think it does matter. I think it does matter. But for a group of people that believe in the Bible,
No.
that make that one of the largest subject matters of their life, when it's not a huge part of the Bible.
Which,
it's like,
by
okay,
the way,
have you been infiltrated by media, or are you actually reading the Word of God?
right, yeah.
It's I think of it through this lens where it's like, if you're an adult, I don't care what age you are, and you're like, every day you're like, oh man, we really got to do something about these people that are aborting babies. What a cool person to be.
What a dope person at the party.
Yes, what a very fun and engaging and interesting person you are to your community, to be thinking about that all the time.
And I think Jesus set a really good example about that, because guess what? He was a man. He didn't have an opinion on the matter.
That's true.
Maybe that was a big part of it.
True.
But the Christian
I will say
nationalism
Christians
side-
got it right that women are second class. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke, guys. I did not mean that.
Whoa, clip it. Christian nationalism is the problem, and that stems from the Judeo-Christian values, which is an oxymoron. You can't hold Jewish beliefs, Judaism's values, while also simultaneously holding Christian values. Yeah. Christians being followers of Christ, Judaism believing Christ wasn't God, and that he hardly existed, and if he did, he's burning in hell, according to the Talmud. Those two things don't align. So how, as a Christian in America, can you uphold American Christian values that are defined by something that's just literally not spiritually, in my opinion, possible?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's about what they think. They think it's possible. You don't think it's possible.
Absolutely.
But
But
they
that
think it's
proves to
possible.
me that those are the people that aren't reading it. You can't have read the full book of Matthew word for word. I think there's 27 chapters. It takes a day and a half. And thought,
Really
the way that
short
the
book,
way that we're
Good chapter.
it's not
good book.
crazy. And
They
if you
ought
were to
make
read
that
all
book
that and
longer.
still say that America's church is abiding by what Christ said, you'd be crazy, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't align at all.
I do like American Christians, like the values that they're like, oh, he's coming back to us. He never hung out here.
What do you mean?
Like
America?
American Christians are like, we are the nation of God.
Right.
We're
One nation
Jesus'
under God.
nation.
Yeah.
Brother, never even thought about it.
That's actually really fun.
America didn't exist. Neither did Israel either. Interesting topic matter there. But yeah, the whole we're a Christian nation. I mean, it wasn't one of the major reasons that we even fled from Britain, was to get away from religious oversight, to be able to have freedom of religion. Like, we can be founded on Christian values, but the people who signed that document, again, were huge slave owners and white supremacist type vibes. And like, even as that, what the Bible had said. But we don't have to make this whole thing about Bible. It's about bias.
There has to be a do or die skit about that, right?
A what?
There has to be so many skits online of being like, all men created equal. Slave, go get me my water.
Oh my God.
You get what I'm like? That's literally what
All
was
men
happening.
are created equal. Oh, I ran out of ink. Can you?
Oh my God.
Now, get it.
A little too natural
Sorry.
there, man.
Yeah, that was really loud. Wow.
Yeah, I have a dad.
My dad one day, it was like a week ago, said to my brother, "Fetch that boy." And I was like,
He said that to me when we were playing pickleball.
He
remember?
said that when you were playing pickleball too. He said it twice in the
Yeah.
last week.
Hey.
I said, yo, Jeff.
Hey,
You're from
Pause.
Arkansas. You cannot
Hey,
say that.
no.
we need to get him back to Costa Rica for a week. Got to fix the brain. He's regressing,
Too much Fox News.
falling
going
back
on
into
right
old
now.
habits.
Does he watch Fox News?
He has transferred in the last year and a half. He was staunch Republican, and
gotta
also
get
a
him.
staunch Republican that I think fits the majority of staunch Republicans. They're
Yeah.
just kind of politically not indifferent, but just kind of
Obtuse?
maybe or ignorant, but because they think they can be. They think they're brought the right information up front. They think they're learning about everything that needs to be learned on because they're watching it through one platform. And so they don't seek more information.
That's a great.
And I
way
think
to
that's
put it.
where he sat, is he didn't seek more information. And then when his son starts seeking more information and a lot of the stuff initially, I'm bouncing off him. Like, did you know this? He's like, that shit's not true. And I'm like, here's the article. Like, yeah, it is. Like, he's
It's a signal to noise thing.
what do you mean?
I feel like they accept more things as noise and disregard it
Sure. As
Accept
this
more
is a
things.
distraction.
because it doesn't
Get off
serve
your
their
phones.
signal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
align, just
Their
like we said with
values.
media. It doesn't
Oh,
align.
The way he was talking, the bias thing.
And what happens
Wow.
what happens when you watch something? So this is the opposite. When Fox News tunes into CNN, or a CNN viewer turns into Fox, what happens on the opposite side? It doesn't align, so it enrages them even more against that group.
Yeah.
And then the same exact thing repeats.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's where he was at, big time. And so I've seen it in person, that person can start to learn more,
yeah.
not necessarily just through black pills, just through, hey.
And he wants to.
That's why-
That's the
And he
biggest
and
thing.
he
I think.
wanted
wants
to, and he has. And he had probably a little bit of motivation because he didn't want to be completely alienated against his son.
Yeah.
But
His
Well,
best
and
friend.
I hope
can
you.
happen.
I
That's
hope
my
you realize
guy.
how good that is, though. That like you're able to talk.
You
to
and
him
Jeff
about
are
that stuff.
besties.
That's
Like,
my guy.
That's really
Yeah, if he
awesome.
can be friends with his dad, you can be friends with these Sussex County boys.
I can't.
my mom's still not 100% there. But the
Yeah.
other day when we were talking, she is slowly being enamored with the Israel thing.
Oh, okay.
Slowly being enamored with that. She learned
that's cool.
because she's a history buff.
So you had the real life Shane Gillis joke where Fox News dad, totally cool, normal dad. Fox News mom.
Because my mom
That's a rough mom to
is-
have.
is, and I love you, Mom. I get a quality from her of she's right. If she believes she's right, she's right.
Yeah.
It's conviction. Yeah.
She's strongly convicted by that, and that hurts the most. A person who has that strong conviction of being correct is shown they're not. I think that's what brings a lot of that anger. Me and my mom have had arguments all throughout our life because we're both very
Dude,
convicted people.
Your mom is
where
low
you
key
learned it
kind
from.
of scary. Like
She can be
I
friendly.
don't know how to explain
She's
it.
the
like,
nicest woman you've
She's
met.
so nice.
And
She's
we'll
so
do-
nice.
And we'll drop everything for you in a moment.
Yeah, she's so cool.
Militant politeness is definitely.
Oh, that's a good way to
thing.
put it. That's a good way to put
Militant
it.
politeness. Well,
Yeah.
she did her 20 years too, so maybe that's
Like
where it
she
came
can
from.
chew you out, or she can be like she can give you like some cookies or something. Like,
And how
that's
hard
I
is
feel.
it as somebody who has served 20 years for this country to learn the country wasn't serving your best interest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
real
tough.
Especially when you put
Not even touching 9/11.
your identity
Well, that's why
into
she
your
joined.
job.
Oh yeah,
She was in the Air Force active. She
Damn, dude.
rejoined in
That's tough.
2001 because
That's
she
tough.
felt she had a calling to serve the country.
Pat Tillman did that too.
So it's like, yeah, you're like really you've made the blood sacrifice for this country.
I hate to say it, but like that's a form of propaganda right now.
Yeah, well, now they're talking about the draft coming back.
Is that real?
he's-
I haven't looked into it.
And
too
you're a
Pam
volunteer
Pam
firefighter.
Bondi
You have
said-
equipment experience, boy.
Pam Bondi said,
Damn.
"Oh yeah, you're first on the list.
I
I'm married,
hammered
no
the
kid,
boy.
no house. You're there.
I'm not going, dude.
You're
I'm not
there.
going. I'm sorry, I'm not going. I'm staying here.
Draft
hiding.
dodger, just like Trump."
See, you and Trump have more in
Here we
common
go.
than you
Here
thought.
we go.
You're,
I'm going
you're
in the
actually
basement.
so similar.
I'm sleeping in Zach's basement. Sorry,
Pam Bondi did say that there's room for that. It's on the table, the draft.
that's the dumbest shit ever.
Because if we put boots on ground, the estimate, people that really follow this and understand, war strategy in the past history, I'm not going to act like I completely know all about it. Say somewhere between
Yeah.
1.5 to 2 million troops would be required to make an impact.
You know, though,
in
I
Iran.
just had
That's
a
nuts.
big light bulb. You know,
I see it.
there was this in the news. They were talking about how like war generals were telling people, like the troops, like, "Hey, man,
When?
we're going to Iran. It's anointed by God.
Oh, I did
Trump
see
is
that.
bringing Christ back. You
Yeah.
know what? Hear me out. Do it. Go to Iran. Build the third temple. And then if he doesn't come back, I want to see the truth hitting them all right in the face. I want them to see like, oh, man, it was prophesized. This was everything why isn't it happening? That is the wake up call. And then afterward we get to go, so all of you guys, we got to put you down now. You just killed millions of people for a quick thing. You guys got to go.
That's crazy, man.
I guess devil's advocate to the whole Jewish side of it is so
We gotta have a counter for that, for how many devil's advocates he does.
Ding, ding.
it's at least 5 or 6 within the first 4 episodes.
You know what? I do say a lot of really extreme things in hyperbole. Like, guys, I don't want them to kill millions of people and build a third. I know that's bad. That was a joke. But every time I make those things, he goes, devil's advocate, to me making an insane claim. So it's actually fair for him to do. He does need to play devil's advocate to me saying insane shit on the mic.
No, it's not
fair.
insane.
That's fair.
It's not insane. What's insane is the theory that this war is to bring about the end times. And there are videos of rabbinic fellows with Bibi Netanyahu speaking about this whole third temple and the bringing about the end times. But the problem with that a lot of Judeo-Christian American church Christians do not understand is the end times is very different in Christianity versus Judaism. Because Judaism, for the most part, they are based off the Torah. And the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible, Moses' law. Nothing in there really talks about the end times. In fact, the Old Testament doesn't have much mention of it at all. There's a little bit by Isaiah, prophet. I think Daniel brings it up. The oscillation of desolation is some crazy wording. I can't remember the one. And Jesus brings it up too. But obviously they don't believe in Jesus. And Revelations is the typical book that talks about the end times. And that's also in the New Testament, which they do not adhere to as well. So the coming back of Christ isn't their end times. They're trying to bring about the Antichrist. And they have a word for it. I can't remember the actual word. I'm not astute in
It's
that.
another language.
It's not good. They're trying to, if the theory is correct, because that's when we're talking about the building of the third temple, which is currently housed by, I believe, and we could pull it up if you wanted to, one of the most prominent mosques at this exact moment is where it would need to be built. You'd be toppling another religion's
Where should I type in?
potential location of the third temple in Israel.
See, this is a world where when people live in here, I'm like, you're insane. If you're like, this is everything, man. This is my whole fiber.
Let's see what the AI crap
It
says.
says the potential location of the third temple in Israel is overwhelmingly believed by proponents to be the Temple of Mount Moriah in Old City of Jerusalem, specifically in the same site as the first and second temples. The location is currently occupied by the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So it's currently in the location of a mosque, Islamic. It would have to be destroyed in order to build that third temple. How do you think the Islamic culture will feel when that's destroyed?
Some type of way.
So when you think about like all these historic texts of like everyone's going to turn against Israel, that's what the Bible literally says in the end times. Like it seems like they're literally actually walking through the steps of creating that. But at the same exact time, Christians will believe, oh my God, they're bringing back Christ. We're all going to heaven. Yet the rapture is never mentioned in the Bible. The word rapture never comes up. Like the whole Left Behind series, those movies and books created this thought process. It was originally created in like the late 1800s. It took us 1800 years to discover when Christ is coming back and what he meant by that. It's made up gibberish. And I don't believe that we're all just going to pop away in one moment. My clothes are going to be left sitting in this chair and a Christian pilot's plane's going to fall out of the sky.
Whoa, that one's crazy.
I don't think that's the thing. There's no reference of it at the very
There's
least.
some trumpets or whatever.
Yeah, the great trumpet that plays in the sky. Yeah.
It's like 7 trumpets,
There's a
right?
crack in the sky.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of symbolism in Revelation.
Oh,
but there's a
dude.
lot of theologians that study it and think that Revelations is completely based off the fall of Jerusalem, which happened 30 years after Christ's death, 35 years after Christ's death.
Interesting.
That was the foretelling of the fall of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And there are some
Yeah.
things that line up, some of the symbology, but it's really symbolic.
I gotta get into
that
that
means-
theology
It's a tough read.
stuff.
That means he
Tough
came
read.
back and we're all alone now. We are the ones who got left behind.
Bum, 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 bum.
Well, what do you say? What do you do? What do we get?
I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys.
Sean, are you okay, bro?
I think I need a brain bath, guys.
So I guess where it comes down to when it comes to like propaganda bias is this war if you advocate for it in one way, shape, or form, you're having to rely on a bias that has been told to you as to why you should back it. And it could be because you believe America's the good guy and we need to liberate and we need to fight against the terrorists.
That's so true.
You could, there's no way you can kind of look at it without having to align with a bias that's been taught to you.
Yeah.
When I think a lot of younger people and older people as well just don't want death.
That's what I'm saying. Just make your bias be
Yeah.
for human life. That's the bias.
I think in any
It's the most
capacity,
basic
yes.
bias in the world.
Absolutely.
It's not that hard. It
But
is
but some
simple.
people, but that bias gets contorted because I think a lot of people do value life and value their own. So when you're told, if we don't kill these people, these evil, psychopathic brown terrorists across the world, they're going to send a bomb and kill your family.
Look at the mountain of evidence.
Do you love your life and the Americans' life? We got to take them out.
The mountain of evidence, right? We have videotape of Israeli guards taking their shields to hide while they all gang rape a woman before chopping off her hands and
YouTube
killing her.
algorithm.
We have
There's one curse.
I need to
But
bleep
we
that.
have
bleep.
we have videos.
No, we do.
We know they. I talk about standards, restaurants, whatever, sales standards.
Restaurants
what
and
you
the
allow.
IDF's taking advantage of women behind riot shields.
Israel's
very similar.
standards for 30 years is to kill, torture, maim, destroy anything and anyone in their way. Children, women, raping and pillaging. Fine, they deserve it. They're nothing.
2 bleeps.
But that is the standard. There's mountains of evidence.
Yep.
So when you're trying to choose on the side of human life and you look at power structures, don't side with the power structure that does the most brutal things to human life. That's the bias I have. And the mountain of evidence. And you know what? The U.S. isn't looking very good at that either.
Nope.
With all the detention camp stuff and the deportation stuff.
Even
They're
just the
buying up
founding
big
of America.
warehouses for that, right?
I mean, we killed so many indigenous people.
I'm
It's
not
crazy.
on the side of the giant power structures that will do anything to human life they don't like. Oh, yes, we're sending your sons. Some of them will die. More probably will. I don't fuck with that.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Thanks, Lord Farquaad.
Oh, yeah.
That's just what it boils down to for me. It seems so simple. And then people are like, but what if they're Muslim? Don't care.
I saw a video the other day talking about the timing of the 2 Top Gun movies and how it was before we were getting prepped to go out to war and how cool fighter jets bombing Iranian camps is.
Yup. I can't, dude, I'm telling you, man, all
Get
those
Tom
military
Get
movies
Tom
are all
Cruise involved,
propaganda.
Mark
It's all
Wahlberg.
propaganda. It
Do you
pisses me
know?
off.
Do you know who was a executive producer?
Lone Survivor's a pretty dope movie, though.
But it's not
Operation
fully
Midnight.
true.
Was it Operation Midnight?
I don't know what. I can't remember what it was.
It was one with
Well, is that the one where he had like
John Krasinski.
he had like a translator guy with him? Oh wait, you're talking about the other. Oh, you're talking about 13 Hours, aren't you?
13 Hours.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
You're talking about the one with Mark Wahlberg.
That's Lone Survivor.
Oh yeah, that is Lone Survivor.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about the one where they brought in the helicopter to kill Osama.
Zero Dark 30. Good movie.
Zero Dark
Oh,
30.
yeah,
Zero
yeah.
Dark 30. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
You watch it and you're like, go
Yeah.
America.
And I talk about hating war movies. I love Saving Private Ryan. That's like my favorite war movie.
Classic. I
love
think
that
my
one.
favorite's The Hurt Locker.
I haven't watched that one.
Great.
That's the one with the Hawkeye, right?
I don't.
The actor for Hawkeye.
Ooh, I haven't seen it in a while. It's about the bomb squad.
What
think it
what
is
was
him.
the movie again?
The
Hurt
Hurt Locker.
Oh, no, you said another one?
Zero Dark 30.
No,
Lone Survivor?
what's his name?
It was Mark Wahlberg, and I think it was.
He said
Lone
Hawkeye
Survivor.
was in Hurt Locker.
Hawkeye?
Yeah,
I just
Hawkeye
like how
was in. Yeah.
he did
Hawkeye.
the bow and arrow every
The
time.
bow
he
and
said
arrow.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
That's how I remember,
Is
dude.
Hawkeye in it? Is Hawkeye
Dude,
in
when
it?
I was a kid, I would do it all the time. Yeah, I'm Hawkeye. Sorry.
Mark, the Hulk.
Yeah,
Mark
Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. He likes our posts all the time now.
that's
He's
so
like-
cool.
He's like 4 or 5 of them commented on a post.
Hey, Mark,
So-
if you see this,
Mark,
I love how green you are.
The pod, bro.
Dude, that'd be
We'll
awesome.
get Ian Carroll and Mark Ruffalo in here at the same time.
Oh my
You
God.
mentioned the Top Gun movies
Be
and how they were like propaganda for like making war look cool.
I've heard that.
Do you know who was one of the key producers on the new Top Gun Maverick?
No.
David Ellison.
No way.
He makes a ton of war and End of Armageddon movies.
No way.
They also make contracts with the
Do you-
military.
the
You
Tomorrow
know
military
who
War
else
pays
makes a
them
lot of
so much
end-of-world
money.
movies that's on the Epstein list?
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg.
Oh, that's Mr. Spieley.
Mr.
Slippery Spieley.
Spielberg. I don't know about Woody Allen's
He
discography,
did
but
David Ellison did like all the new Mission Impossible movies. That really crappy war movie, The Tomorrow War, with I think Chris Pratt. He did that.
maybe they just like war. It is a very interesting thing when you have 2 different ideologies and
Any
countries
movie
butting
that-
up against each other and how you're going to strategically overhaul the other and
Yeah.
make your country come out the other side. It's a cool concept.
It's fun to romanticize arguing over land and leveraging human bodies to fight over it.
But at this point, it's like all the
Make it look
land
cool and it'll work out.
is occupied. All the livable land in the world at this point is occupied for the most part. We're not fighting over colonizing an uninhabited area anymore. We're utilizing rockets and drones and AI. It's not even ground troops anymore. We're talking about drones.
Dude, come on, guys! Like, just fight each other. Like, actually, fist fight. You
should
don't need to
be-
do these dumb drone
Fist
shit.
fights and muskets should be the requirement.
Like,
We should
yeah,
have to stick to
seriously, like-
Revolutionary War.
Like,
tactics.
all the dudes are surrounded in a circle and they're just fist fighting without a shirt on. Like, and whoever wins wins. And it's just like, all right, guys, they won.
Like David and Goliath back in the day. They said, we're going to get you. We got
Yeah.
Goliath. You send us your best man. And then we're going to put it on as a pay-per-view event. And whoever wins gets the other country. We'll
Yeah,
pink slip it.
literally. Was Goliath really that big? How big was he?
So Goliath seems to stem from the Nephilim, which is involved in Genesis. I think it's Genesis 15, where it actually talks. No, it's not Genesis 15. It's later on. It's a part of the Bible that any Christian nationalist will immediately say, no, not that part.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because it talks about fallen angels coming down and impregnating human women and creating giants.
Whoa!
It's in the Bible. And
I missed that part.
The book of Enoch was Noah's father, was supposedly the one who wrote it. It's not verified. There's a lot of people who will say that the book of Enoch is not legit, but a lot of the stuff in the book of Enoch talks about the time in which that was going on and just how insane it was. There were little giants and aliens running the earth. And that's where they think Goliath stemmed from.
It is
because he was a
sick to
human
think
Or
monster.
lizard
that.
people.
Well, there's measurements for his sword, and his sword itself is like 200 plus pounds. It was like he was swinging a sword that
You're
I
telling
can't
me
bench.
David just
Real
shot a little
quick.
pebble at his forehead and he was gone?
Slung it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he
Real
just
quick.
slung it. Yeah,
slung
that's right.
that thing.
So was Enoch the first conspiracy theorist? What a guy, dude.
Imagine
We're
having to
doing
write
the
about
same
him.
thing now.
We are Enoch.
We're literally conspiracy theorists.
That part of the Bible gets completely overlooked. And again, you'll have Christians like, I believe the whole Word of God is the infallible Word of God. Every word was inspired by God to be written by those men. Be like, okay, cool. Let's talk about the Nephilim. You want to talk about the Nephilim real fast?
It kind of makes sense to me though, because if you think about the Bible, it's like, all right, the rich people who won helped make and share this forever, you know? And we're looking right now, and like the rich people who won are like, the Epstein files are fake. Don't listen to those. So actually, now if you are a true Christian and you read the Bible and you're like, this is legit, I do kind of feel like you have to side with the rich people who are like, no, we're doing the right thing. It's holy.
I hear you.
Holy crap.
Holy, holy are you, Lord. Okay.
All right.
Do you have more?
Quick hymn that jumped into my brain.
know we're moving.
How long's it been? It's been a bit.
Can I tell you my favorite Bible story?
Yeah.
Please.
So my name is Joseph.
Hi,
Do you know who I'm named after?
Joseph.
Joseph.
In the Bible.
Right.
Do you know the story of Joseph in the Bible?
Joe Mama. Sorry.
You know the story of
Go
Joseph
ahead.
in the Bible. Joseph in the Bible was one of 12 sons to a man. He was the youngest son. He had 11 bigger older brothers that were all warriors.
know the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
yeah, I
all
do know the
warriors.
story.
But Joseph was different, and his
Mhm.
brothers picked on him. And he liked to hang out with his mom a lot, I think.
Little mama's boy.
And his dad was like, hey, stop picking on Joseph. I love him. I'm proud of him. In fact, he was so proud, he made him a rainbow-colored jacket.
I do remember that.
And his brothers were like, damn, that's sick. They were like, dude, that jacket's tough as hell.
Actually, exactly what happened.
No, and then they were like, gotta get rid of him. They're like, we're going to take him on a hunting trip to celebrate his cool coat. Take him out, dig a hole, throw him in the hole. They're like, you little... I don't know what kind of word they would have used him to describe here, but I bet it sounded like words that a lot of like men used in the 80s to describe people in San Francisco. They were like, get in there.
That wore rainbow coats.
You're dead. We don't like you anymore. And then God found out and said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm proud of Joseph too. And he saved Joseph. So in my mind, I'm named after probably the first gay pride story.
Wow, dude. Good for you.
If you really think about it.
Good for you, dude. That's awesome, man.
My name carries power. My name has meaning.
Oh man. There's people who take there's a chapter about David that talks about his really close male friend that lived with him.
And how he cried forever after he died.
Yep, he was super beaten up by
And
his
homosexuality is a sin, right?
dad. Yes.
Yeah,
well,
right.
that's the thing.
According to the other side,
labeled, but a lot of the
At least in
verses that are
public.
translated back from Aramaic, because BB at one point was on stage with the Pope, and he was like, "Of course, in the Bible it's written in Hebrew," and the Pope was literally like in a moment, he's like, "No, it wasn't. It was written in Aramaic by Greek people a lot of times. Like that's not true at all."
I hate that guy.
A lot of the words for homosexuality do go back to male-on-male prostitution, or even overall just the word prostitution.
Yeah.
Like people bring up Sodom and Gomorrah, of a place that was just filled with orgies and child sacrifice and all this stuff. Yeah. So a lot of when people were like, oh my God killed an entire city of people. It's like, read about what Sodom and Gomorrah was doing. I know American Christians will say, oh, they were just being gay. There was a lot of the stuff that you're reading about in those files that was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Did you see?
Did not have to do with just that.
Did you see there's it was a journalist who just posted an article about the gay elite cabals of
Gay
San
elite
Francisco?
cabals. No.
That there's like a club set up for like high-powered gay men in tech.
Is that like the Bohemia Grove?
No. It's just like a
Because these are tech bros.
yes.
Oh.
And it's like they have like orgy parties and stuff. I just saw it last week. It's like a journalist was doing it. She got like one of the guys who was in it. She has like, you should look it up. It's fascinating.
Hot take. I don't get orgies.
That's not a hot. That's not a hot take.
I don't get
feel
it
like- I don't-
either.
I don't
get it either.
understand. Yeah, I never got an invite, so I'm really mad about it. So let me hate it. No, I don't get it. Like that sounds really.
No, it doesn't sound fun at all.
Why is that
Sounds
the
disgusting.
thing that when you've reached a pinnacle of success, you now can do whatever you want?
All right,
You're like,
guys, let's
"Dog."
celebrate. Take off your clothes.
Diddy throws in the party. He's like, listen, I know exactly what we're going
For
to
me, it's the
I don't get it, man.
the
Ew.
athleticism of it seems difficult
I think I get it.
because like we've had sex. How much more
Not
can,
together.
How much longer can you? How much longer can you keep going? You know,
Maybe it's like almost like a big group.
Like, you
podcast
get
where
done
some
with
people can
one-
step away, watch for a little bit.
you get done with one, and
back
another
in.
one's
Oh,
like
this is
gonna make me
my
sick.
turn, and you're like, Jesus, dude, can I get a sandwich or something? It seems difficult.
Well, remember that how much hydration Diddy parties they said they were getting. They're literally getting IVs afterwards. Like there was one woman who was brought in to apparently clean Diddy's property,
Oh, it's getting dark again.
and she was told to commit sexual acts for 24 hours.
that sounds awful.
She nearly died.
How? How do you? I don't. That's what I don't get.
It's sick.
Can't take like a
dude.
24 minutes, and I'm like,
Maybe
what
it's-
a
maybe
great
it's 'cause
time.
Sex is so like sacred, and like having the power to orchestrate it and have power over people doing it is like a ego thing.
I
Oh,
think
the power
I think
is
you
it.
nailed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Ego, power. I have power over you. You can't do anything about
Because
it.
I watched the other day. Have you ever seen Dads Against Pedophiles? Third bleep. It's a guy. I think you've seen him because he's real big on Rumble. Who?
Oh, did he punch him in the face?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I have seen
yeah.
that.
He
I
he
have
gives
seen
him
that.
the choice. He gives him the choice. So he's a team. So Tommy G collabed with him, and me and Rachel were watching the video last night, and he's asking, he's like, "Why do you think these people do this?" And he's like, "Because they're weak men that want power, and this is the only form of power they can get." And they take that ability to take advantage of somebody who can't defend themselves as their form of power. Because he was like, you know, it's sad, and I don't want to have any empathy toward these people, but these people typically don't have anything going in their life, and this is their opportunity to take some control. And it makes sense when you think about it when it comes to power, like sex, especially when it's outside of marriage, it's outside of love. When you think about all the crimes and things that are committed with it, it's for power. It's I want to have authority over you because maybe I don't have authority over my own life. Or, and then he brought up the elite side. He said, and when you get to the very, very top, you have everything. That's one thing that's so taboo you can't have. And they're like, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's sick, dog. And it's sick that Christians protect those people.
Did that help shift you any of your biases?
No, I'm still pissed at everybody. I still hate everybody.
Listen
guys.
to us grow together.
Speaking of growing together, you want to get back through the document?
dude. It's 12:28. How long have you been shooting for?
We've been doing 2 hours, so I think We've been
We're
on
there.
like hour 20, hour 15.
We're in the home stretch.
Yeah, we're good.
All right,
We'll
let's
go
do
to-
it.
we'll
You
go
wanna
to-
end
we're
with
done.
I
anything
feel like
fun?
it's taken a long time. It's good though. Like I like our conversation.
And
So
anything fun?
we've been going. So we went down a huge rabbit hole, kind of. But
Yeah, mental.
let me get this over with real quick. So we already touched on this.
Stop. You're downplaying yourself and the work that you put
No,
in.
no,
Don't
no.
say let's get through this.
Well, I
Let's
wanna
just
get
go.
over that,
You
'cause we-
prepared this. You're hosting. This has been great.
I appreciate it.
Here's our playbook. Tell us what to do.
Even though fact check is 2 words.
I can't change.
Can
it.
you
I'm
fact
so
check
sorry,
that? Can you
Zach.
fact
Can you
check
fact
that?
check the word fact check?
Fact check that.
No. Anyway, when you're taking in media, especially when it comes to like, movies, ads, scrolling on Instagram, you got to understand, is it true what you're looking at? You should fact check it. Just look it up on Google. There's a bunch of stuff. And how is it conveyed? And when I say how is it conveyed, like, yes, on the actual context of what's being said, but also like the setup, like how much money is put into what you're watching, like what is actually being shown and what information are you getting out of it? Because like I was talking to you about it, like me and you talk about the movie stuff all the time. Like when you're watching a movie, think about it like a director or a cinematographer. Like how did they get that shot? How did they do that focus pull? Why did they cut the scene here and go to that? Like watching it and understanding these cues and how much money is put into it is really important because that really shows like that they're really trying to get something from you, like whatever it is.
Yeah, and it could be something as innocent as I can really see how they wanted to emotionally pull me into the scene, and that's why they did that cut. And
Yeah.
and the music dropped, and they they lowered the aperture.
Mhm.
So
Because like all that stuff, there's little things in your brain where they like that stuff and it
you know
picks
what
up
comes
on
to my
it.
brain immediately when you say that? How's it conveyed?
Mm-hmm.
It's like PR. It's
Yeah.
like we want to talk about something, but we can't talk about it in a certain way because we know what the reaction would be. So we're going to talk about it this way.
Yep.
It immediately makes me think about the episode we did on Super Bowl commercials. You guys remember the Ring doorbell commercial?
Mm-hmm.
Talking
For
about
dogs.
for finding dogs.
Find the dogs.
We got AI.
We're
find
going
your
to
dogs.
utilize AI on all of the cameras on all your front doors and
Mhm.
garages to find your dog.
No, they're not.
And it failed because
Yeah.
people immediately were like,
this is stupid.
this is the worst. This
Yeah.
is a surveillance state move, and we don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's get them to sing the Backstreet Boys in sync, and let's
Oh, God.
Coinbase. It's like they want you to emotionally feel attached to their brand and that they're doing good.
It was cool that they did that though, because
It was
all of
it was a cool ad.
no, just as people, we all got to agree at the same time. Fuck that.
Everybody having a really good time, and then
Everyone is yes, Coinbase set up.
Coinbase-
No,
what?
you're still not,
not the
cool.
words.
Don't like you.
That is a cool moment because it was again a failed attempt, at least for a lot of the younger people, to say like we saw through that immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is it conveyed thing? There's two things that happens here. So you can look at it two ways. One, you can try to reverse engineer the intent, right? Now that can be difficult because you have to assume the creator or whoever's putting this out have positive intent, negative intent, whatever. So another thing I'd add to this is instead of trying to reverse engineer intent, identify missing results. So when things are presented to you, right, there's like a behavior, which like we'll call the video the behavior. You're receiving some sort of behavior, content, whatever. And then there's results. And they're telling you the results of behavior. So news is reporting on behaviors and the results they've get. Ask yourself, what results has this video omitted? And that can help you figure out what the intent is or whether it's propaganda or not, right? So as an example of that, talking about like,
I have an example of you.
go, yeah.
Immediately, I think about Pam Bondi talking about the price of eggs. Immediately, I
Yes.
think about the price of eggs. The price of eggs is down X%, blah, blah, blah. What about the price of the other 3,000 items?
Just cherry picking.
Not just the one that,
That was
had
a
to
better
do with
one
the
than I
avian
had.
flu.
Yeah.
I was thinking about mine because I was going to say an example is like when you see media from pro-Israel sources that are like, oh, Palestinians killed 1,000 people last year.
Here we go.
You're omitting that Israel killed
100,000.
100,000, including 82% citizens, right?
Yep.
So like that's a deliberately
Like
omitted
50% plus
data
children.
point.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm like, oh, they're trying to convey this thing to me that they're not doing horrible things to those people. That was my
Or at least
No,
it
that's,
just,
yeah.
that was
to
my
to
example.
justify it. They use
Yeah.
that media bias to justify action.
Yep.
Another common one for like men, and this is like when the man thing was popular during COVID, when they were like, oh, 50% of marriages end in divorce, so why even get married? Well, yeah, that includes second, third, fourth, and fifth marriages. People who are bad at their first marriage
Yeah.
are usually bad at their second, third, and fourth.
And that goes to like surveys.
It's a great
too.
point.
Correct. Oh,
Like, how's that?
most
information?
black people get killed by black people. Yeah, most white people get killed by white people. That's how classes work. Like, look at what they're omitting from in the big picture,
Yeah.
and you can learn a lot more too.
Yeah.
That's great because then you start going down the line. I'll bring the crime thing up immediately.
It's hard to assume
It's
intent.
like, okay, minorities commit the most crime. Is that the stat? Or is it those in lower classes financially commit the most crime?
Yeah.
Because one may look like the other because we've subjected that race into financial poverty. But
Yeah.
what's really causing the crime? Because they look a certain way? Or is it because they literally have no ability to financially get out of where they're at?
Yep.
And they have the ability to do X or Y to get their family out.
Or
of
is
where
it because
they're
it
at?
was
Absolutely.
illegal for their grandfather to buy a house?
Dude, the zoning laws, I've talked about this often. The zoning laws for housing were largely locked in 1971.
Mhm.
Most of the zoning regulations, what you can and can't build, where it can be built, was created then. And the steering that was done just in that zoning was so racially motivated. They even created things called MUDs, which were mixed unit developments, where typically they were high rent or highly rented, not owned. And they called them MUDs because they mucked up values.
So crazy.
And by 3 years later, the Fair Credit Housing Act passed. Now, why does that have to do with it? We get all the zoning laws put in for who, what, where you can buy a house and what you can do with it. And then in 1974, we pass an act that allows a black man to get a mortgage. So we've locked in, up until this point, who was buying and who could buy. And then by the time we're able to say, actually, you're able to buy, that's fine. We've locked in the zoning. You've gotten 50 plus years head start on the American land, more than that. And people don't look at that. You're a generation and a half away from literally not being able to get a mortgage or a credit card. And those grandparents are now raising grandkids that are subject to the same systems. Oh, you're free now. Well, a generation and a half ago wasn't, at least not financially. And you only have to go 2.5 generations deep to where they physically weren't free.
Yep.
This is funny.
great
Last year, because I do photography and stuff. I had a friend who like did a surprise engagement, and he like asked me to come take pictures. And then after we were walking around, it was the Winterthur Museum, and he was like, "Dude, it's just crazy. They don't build stuff like this anymore." And just like without even thinking about it, I was like, "Well, they use slaves, so."
Oh my God.
But like literally, like the DuPont family and fortune,
Yeah.
like when you say back 50 years, it's 300 years, bro.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No. I'm just, being recent. You're absolutely right. Thousands of years.
Yeah.
We got to dig on the DuPonts.
Yeah,
So
they're
much of
cool,
that-
dude.
So much of that is hard to track because they're actually one of the largest families. They have like 3,000 members.
Oh wow.
It's extremely difficult to follow.
So we shoot a video.
They
on
also
scene.
just
Winterthur.
changed the name of everything, so
Get
it's not
kicked out.
DuPont anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Changed lots of names.
Smarties.
They're like, dang, they called us poison in the water. We're Exalta now?
Yeah, Rothschild literally having Rothschild & Co. makes it a little easier to track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, besides what we've been through, the only other thing I have is just understanding rage bait and
Oh, I
how,
love Rage Bait.
how to identify it. So I did put a little post down here. Well, I got a little quote right here by I think it's Tim Ferriss. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's a
What?
business guy.
It is imperative
Self-help
that
dude.
you learn to ignore or redirect all information interruptions that are irrelevant, unimportant, or unactionable. Most are all three.
Whoa, hurtful.
So I'll just say
Irrelevant, unimportant, or unactionable.
unactionable.
Unactionable's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
He's
So
spitting game.
I found this guy. So if you don't know who this dude is,
The DC
this
Drano.
is one of the guys that was getting the first release of the Epstein files. He was one of those people that were holding the binders up in the air. They're like, we got the unredacted stuff. Not important right now, but just keep that in your mind. But all this guy posts and reposts is stuff just reaffirming the right side and promoting like violence. I'm not going to play this video, but this video is literally like a shooting, and I guess it was classified as a terrorist attack. And this girl is literally giving CPR to a dead guy.
Jesus.
And
Very
then,
fun.
and like promoting stuff like this guy, like this, there's a guy on a bike that's like not cooperating, and he just like picks him up and puts him on the ground. It's not, that one's not
jeez.
that crazy. But like this entire stuff is, it's just like not important. It's just making
What's
one side
important
feel
to
good
him?
about their side.
Yeah.
There's another, is it this one? No. All that being
These
said,
are good ones to ask yourself, what is he omitting?
yeah, like what is like how are you expected to feel after seeing this stuff?
The Dow is above 50,000.
I'm trying to find. There's a certain example I saw.
I like how those two videos kind of connect. What's the hockey color wave?
Well,
Yeah, he's got like 4 in a row about the hockey one.
this and this. Yeah, and like you got to understand too, a lot of these people that are posting this are they're just view farming and click farming and stuff like that.
It just, that post said, remember when Trudeau's people booed the national anthem? Trudeau is a Canadian. Why do we give a shit if he likes our anthem?
But he was a liberal, so he's also
Yeah, and I can't really
bad for America.
I can't really read this stuff right now. Oh, here's one. So I'm not going to show this, but there's like some shooting going on here in Iran. Like somebody's breaching.
Yeah, it says armed rioters breached several layers of the security perimeter at the U.S. consulate in Pakistan in an attempt to take it over. U.S. Marine Corps has been opening fire on rioters who breached our consulate, killing 22. This was a week ago.
That
Yeah.
seems bad.
And like you read this and like people comment and they're like, yeah, get them. Like, let's go USA. Let's get them out of there.
Dude,
They shouldn't even be there. Like, and these are people dying. Like, why are, like, we have people that are like, yes, kill them. Kill
Well,
these
it's-
people in
it's
another
like
country.
With war, go ahead, give your.
I was
take.
no, I got one
I'm
of these the
mad.
other day. I didn't even realize it was someone I followed, and I was like, "When did I follow this guy?" I followed him like 2019 on Instagram,
Yeah.
but it was a video where it was like, "Hey, Iran, we're still dancing," and so he's like an Israeli tech guy, and he was like, "Even if you send bombs, we'll keep dancing in Israel." And I look at the comments, and it's all like, "Yes, go Israel," blah blah blah, and I was like, "Didn't you bomb them first?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean we're gonna keep dancing?
Mhm.
You bombed them first."
yeah.
This is a reaction of war, though. I saw this video. This wasn't the only. There was another embassy that was getting raided over there. People are right to say we shouldn't kill, we shouldn't raid, we don't want our American offices or American people put in harm's way. Absolutely.
Sure.
And rioters and people breaking in, and none of that's right. But when you have bombed an ally of a group of people, to act like they aren't going to react in retaliation of our initial fire is silly. Like, it's war. You think that they're just
Yeah.
gonna lay down? And this is why when we look at the Strait of Hormuz being closed down for the most part, and an oil tanker that got bombed while going through it, and now they have aquatic mines all run throughout it, and we're like, oh my God, this is an act of economic warfare. What the fuck did you think they were gonna do?
Yeah.
You bomb them in the middle of the night with your other ally in the Middle East, and you've been consistently doing that. And then when they hit you back, you hit them back. This is going to keep happening because that's how war works.
Yeah.
So why do we have this thought process that it's going to be, we're going to take out their nuclear facility, take out their leadership, allow the regime to change, and then we're going to leave?
Yeah.
When has that ever worked?
But it's way
When
easier.
has that ever been the system that actually happened?
Yeah.
Because we look at Iraq, we look at Saudi Arabia, we look at Afghanistan, you look at Syria, you look at all these different places that are going through civil unrest. We walk in, it's never been better when we left.
Yeah.
Dude, the top right one's a great one because it's like Marine warfare. An American Marine just sunk. Yeah, you didn't mention it was on an exercise we were in and backed out of right before and completely had no guns or anything.
Yeah. But it's so much easier, Zach, because for people that are watching this, that are in their echo chambers, that are just like, yeah, America first, whatever, they're not thinking about all that. They don't. They,
And
they haven't done the research.
I don't want us to lose the war, even though I think we will. Not to say that we're going to get taken over or anything, but I think
Yeah.
we're going to have to send in ground troops, and way more people are going to have to die than necessary, and we're not going to successfully change the regime, and we're not going to eliminate all the terrorists. That's not going to happen. That's a win. It's just, they haven't labeled a win, but I would assume that's a win. If that's a win, we're not going to win.
It's just common sense. It's not America first, bro. It's just common sense.
America first would be our money and our time being spent on domestic affairs.
But like 39 trillion in debt, people in poverty everywhere. We don't have healthcare. Every other developed nation in the world has universal healthcare. We're the lowest in mortality rate. So for the people who don't like abortions, we can barely get the babies out live when they want to have them. Like all education's down the
You mean
toilet.
the highest mortality rate. You said lowest.
Yeah, highest. Thank you. Yeah, I said it. I wish it was. It should be the lowest. We have more
with
money
the
than
amount of
anyone.
money and tech we have. Yeah.
With all of the money we invested in education, I have the absolute best tech. But it's like, oh,
Modern medicine, we got NBA players recovering from Achilles tendon snaps in 8 months.
yeah, but like the tech,
But we can't get that down.
the best tech we have is like we have more speed light cameras than any other country. We literally only have advanced drone AI warfare that's doing drone strikes for us. That apparently is bombing parks because it's called Police Park and doesn't know how to tell the difference between a park and a police station. The rap sheet says like it's not America first. All the money is being used for the elites first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
It's just common sense.
there's two different definitions, I think, to that phrase that I think both sides equally think is right. There's America first when we prioritize Americans first. And then there's the America first, I think, is alleviating two words. It's not America first. It's keep America first, or adding one word.
That's the thing.
Keep America first. Let's stay the number one economy. Let's
First
stay
in
the
what?
number one superpower. Let's stay the number one military. Let's stay the number one king of the earth. They want America in first place. We want
Just from
America to be prioritized by America. We want to be first
Take care
in
of
the
the
line of
citizens.
priority.
But like what you just said, you just listed 3 things that all had to do with like fear mongering the world. Number one military, number one superpower, number one king of the earth. We want to be number one at all the countries being scared of us.
And I said this last time,
doesn't
I
feel
think
like
there's a
number one
strength
either.
to having an insanely strong defense because you don't get attacked nearly as often when they feel that they are going to destroy you if you attack them. But the fact that we're always the ones starting it doesn't show that we're utilizing our defense as defense. We're utilizing it as an offensive measure to bring about regime changes that don't work and cost us billions or trillions over many wars. But, we've already up above 20-30 billion dollars spent in this war, apparently. People are
Absolutely.
People think within a month we're going to be over $100 billion. Like that's an
unfathomable.
It's an unfathomable amount
crazy
of
to
money.
think about.
Meanwhile, our Federal Reserve is printing four to 8 billion every single week. Still are since December. Like billions are flowing out, and yet
Also-
when we talk about the lesser of people or the unhoused people or just the people like you that want to get in and just shut up and live the American dream, you're like, how, bro? Like,
doesn't make sense.
I want to be a docile piece of cattle in your system. You're not feeding me. You don't. There's no barn for me to lay in at night. Like the grass is burnt up. I can't be your cattle right now. So what am I supposed to do?
That's true.
That's where again it goes to like the boomers.
No,
had
then
a
they
different
go.
life.
Then they go.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we have too many cattle.
Uh-oh.
Bring back the draft.
No.
I don't think that's why they're talking about the draft.
You're
I don't think
so
that's-
close to getting it.
I don't think that's why they're talking about the
They're
draft.
like, we need to wean the herd. There's too many of them.
But there's not. There's
No,
so
no.
much money.
No,
There's
yes,
so much money.
Staying up here,
There's
not
so
going down
much
here,
money.
guys.
There is
to the common
50
sense American, but not to the guy who's like, can we just take all the water from Greenland for us? There's not enough money when that's what they want to do.
Let's get in the notebook.
I had a stat in here. I don't want to mess it up.
To the guy who's like, we need cameras everywhere. I just got to see what these fuckers are up to. I got to see what all these little rugrats are doing out here. Not enough money.
That is so insane. But anyway, I pulled this up just because like this is adding no value. It's just reposting shit to make you angry, and it's really like I mean, the war is important. It's good to stay updated, but like this is not the way of getting the information.
I will say that does make me angry. Angry at him because he's like, look at this great thing, and not like,
Yeah, like not
yeah,
going into the
we
background.
still got vets killing themselves like crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, teachers make like 40 grand a year.
It's crazy how people too like I don't understand how you can not support a teacher in any capacity.
They're
Like they're literally
training
like
up the
backbone.
next generation.
Sorry,
and they're not getting
do you mean
compensated.
the groomers of the children?
The groomers?
Oh, got my
They want them all to be gay.
Jesus
My
Christ!
God.
Sorry, I'm getting a little too into it.
I'm trying to find the
Brain bath
stat.
time.
That's what they say though.
I'm trying to find that. I cannot find it.
And that
so
goes
I'm
back
just
to like
gonna
the people that I'm friends
spitball
with,
it.
or the Republican people that I want to.
It does make sense though, like in a dark twisted kind of way. When they're like, "Oh man, we really need to stop these people from educating our kids. Can't let drag queens in there." Because the more we teach kids how to identify like threats, the more likely they are to report on those councilmen from Oklahoma who are touching kids. They're like, "Stop teaching them how to tell on us."
Oh my God, that's actually valid thoe.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
valid,
really
though. That's
valid when
really-
you think about it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They're like, another one got caught. Stop telling them about it.
I cannot find the stat. I don't want to make it up because I know
wolves
I
in
don't.
sheep's clothing.
What's it about? We can Google it.
Well, it's going to be a tough Google. It took a couple points of finding the data, but basically the M2 money supply and the amount of money available in our country. So the M2 is the way that we track things like what are in savings accounts, what's actual physical money that exists. I believe it tracks IRA accounts, but it doesn't track assets like stocks or real estate. There's a lot of money that's not tracked.
Yep.
So we have about 16 and a half times 1,650% more money in our country than we did in the mid 70s. So 1975, it was about $1.6 trillion in our M2 money supply. 1,650% increase, 16x. Our population has grown by 50%. So there is 16x more money. I'm going to lower it because I don't have the exact stat. I don't want to keep saying a number that's not 100% true. Let's just say it's 12 times. 12x more money per capita.
For 0.5x more people.
Exactly. There's 16 times more money available, 50% more population, but yet people feel broker than they've ever felt.
And we live in apartments.
So where's the money?
We don't want to live in the apartment. We don't want a one-bedroom.
I just want to know where the money is. And that comes down to, there's this one too I just had up, of the percentage that's held by the top 10%. All these different stats, I can't tell the difference.
It's a lot of it.
We
There's
know
a
where
lot
it
of
is.
stats and graphs
It's a
in
lot
here.
of it.
We know where it is. We're not doing anything.
Dude, we should start.
So in...
What are you about to say?
My riffs are going too far. I need to
Dude,
stop
riff it
riffing.
out.
Where are you
Riff it
going?
out.
We already
I
got
was
to bleep a couple things.
We
so.
should start like if there's like a legal team out there that like specializes in assault cases, hear me out on this. We need to start a like punch a politician club, but then keep getting it to court and saying it's a form of free speech because they're a government representative.
How is that going to work?
What?
How's that going to work?
What do you mean?
Like, how are we
We
gonna
just
be able to
need
punch
the
them in
Supreme
face and
Court-
be like, hey guys, this is cool.
Be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I've never punched anyone in my life. I'm not doing this because I'm a violent person.
So the
Okay.
stat
I
is-
am
the stat is-
exercising my
Okay.
free speech against the government.
So the stat is,
Let's do it. I
Guys,
love
am I
that.
big raining right
I
now?
love it. Let's do it.
in 1977, making $120K a year was seen as top 10% wealth. And 23% of the nation's wealth was in the top 10% hands. As of this point, 35% of the nation's wealth is held in the top 10%'s hands. So if you want to know where the money's going, it's going to the top. You can look at the canteen effect. That affects anytime money is printed. The wealthy are the ones that receive it. The banks are the ones that receive it. The government's the ones that receive it. We have to fix the system that allows for the wealthy to cheat on taxes, to hide corporate funds, to not pay their own personal taxes, to not pay proper income, to benefit themselves through stock buybacks and lobbying in Congress and all these other things that are more beneficial for them to spend money on, to increase their stocks, to make sure a law that doesn't pass so that they can continue doing what they're doing. And we're not seeing any money flow to the people who are creating the value. Because the value is not created by the guys in the executive boardrooms. It's created by the cogs, the people, the humans, the cattle now that are making the system run. They're not being compensated. And there's no law in place. There's no accountability in place. There's no social pressure in place to make that happen. And there's nothing in the forefront that's going to make it happen. So forgive my black-pilled nihilism. Almost said narcissism. Nihilism. A little bit, maybe. We'll go a little bit.
A little bit of narc in there.
Little narc.
Yeah.
The nihilism of, okay, it's not going to get better. Show me where it is.
Yeah.
Show me the bill that says, oh, housing is going to become more
It won't,
affordable.
though. It won't.
Yeah, show me the bill that's going to lower actual healthcare costs, the cost of medication, the cost of getting a car, the cost of getting healthcare, the cost of getting life insurance, the cost of owning and raising a kid and a family. Like, show me where those costs are going to drop, because I haven't seen one single historical point that shows deflation ever. And yet we're being told by every administration, blue, red, green, and otherwise, oh, we're going to get prices down. And for 50 years, that hasn't happened.
You're ready? You're
No, I'm not.
Here's
I'm
the
done
thing.
with this podcast right now.
What happens in like private corporations? And you remember the Republicans? He's a great businessman. He's going to run the country like a business. Run it like a business. What happens in a
Sound like a
large
Grinch.
corporation when there's like a toxic work culture, or there's like the people at the top are making the work environment not good, or they're not paying their employees enough? What happens when people try to start a union?
They get shut down.
Yeah, they do. They get fired. You know what almost never happens? The CEO's like, my bad, guys.
That shouldn't be funny, but
No.
They never do that.
They'll never
Let me
do
keep
that.
going. Do they ever go, I fucked up? The only way CEOs get ousted and companies improve is if they get thrown in prison. The only way is
this
if they
is
get
going.
forcibly removed or they go bankrupt. And guess what they do when they go bankrupt? They sell off the assets, they fire you, they keep as much of the money as possible because they built the business.
Right.
So if you think of the government like a business and we have this brilliant businessman running it, the only option is to get him in prison. And it's another call to action on why the Epstein files have never mattered more, why looking into the dark money ties from lobbying groups, AIPAC, and all of those organizations, you have to get them charged. It's the only way it changes. The other option is
Don't say it.
we get fired.
I thought he was going a different direction there.
That one time we brought
That was going to be Mangione-ish.
I mean, United Healthcare is still doing United Healthcare things,
So
so
nothing really changed.
one wasn't enough.
Damn it, there it was. There it was.
If I'm talking about like if it was a video game, you know what I mean? In a video game, you could try to do that. Not in real life, of course.
Hitman 3.
Peanut reference. But that's the only way. That's the only way. The only way you get new leadership and power of the structure is the thing about businesses, they have to get arrested. It's the only way.
But then somebody else just comes into charge that does the same thing, because usually the CEO goes and then the vice president steps in, the COO steps in,
So maybe some
their
more.
son steps in.
So maybe
That's
some
what
more.
happens in Assassin's Creed.
Maybe some more aggressive tactics.
Yeah,
could
but those
follow.
how far do those aggressive tactics go? Like again,
fun to be a part of, probably.
until you're in jail and your whole movement's silenced and ostracized.
I mean, I'm not going to do it. I love my wife, or we have 2 dogs, but
it's. I think about the content we're making right now. Like at some point, there could be a national ban on speaking out against any other foreign entity, and now we're going against the law, and now we're getting tried and arrested. And is that right?
No.
No. So if they see, and the reason I think that will happen is because people are continuing to link these things back to
keep
the
saying that could
corporations.
happen next because it could.
It could.
Like, we need
But
people to
the
know
reason
that's
that
what could happen
But
next.
the reason that would happen is because of corporate interest,
Mm-hmm.
because of money. And if we start threatening the money, I mean, that's what MLK was talking about a month and a half before he got taken out. He started talking about 40 acres and a mule. We need financial reparations. They're like, we're okay with this whole freedom thing, but I have a dream. Okay, but this, no. And you talk about JFK. You talk about the money that was going to happen with infiltrating the gold standard with silver to keep it alive and inspecting nuclear facilities. And the people who stood out against the system get silenced, and then the next person up says, "No, that person was dumb."
Yeah.
And then the narrative's rewritten. It's basically 1984. It's like the George Orwellian of they basically take out anybody who double thinks or second thinks because they have thought police.
Dude, I will say it's like people keep doing this more and more comparison to like books and stuff, and just like I feel like that's it's a little bit detaching from reality. Because like when I read 1984, like the first time you read it, you're like, "This is a crazy book." That'd be
a crazy. It's
and
a
you're
tough
like,
read too.
But you're like, that'd be a crazy world to live in. But in the same sense, it is still an escape from this reality. And this reality seems worse because the ties of corruption that we've been looking at and seeing, they go deeper.
I gotta read it.
It's a tough read.
I got the book. I just gotta read it.
A lot of
Yeah, for a
old-timey
while
words.
you're just like, what is the purpose of this? And then you're like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, then it hits.
I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, it's a little black pill to wrap up. What are you grateful for?
Well, I tried to end with the really cool gay pride story, and then we kept going.
Oh, that was your ender?
Yeah, I thought that was positive fun.
Oh, I thought that was a semicolon, not a period. My bad.
No, you're good. I thought
that
the
was a
same
long
thing.
ChatGPT.
No, I thought
Oh
the
my
same
God.
thing. Well, here's what we'll do for ending. I'll do my quick spiel. If you're seeing this or hearing this on Spotify or Apple Music, we have a new YouTube channel just for the Cabin Fever podcast. Wanted to make it easier for people who like this style of content to see it, interact with it, comment it. Me and Sean will still be here. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get some live guests down in the basement.
The basement.
And
We're gonna
please
get a table. We're gonna get a table.
continue to follow and support Zach on his primary channel, where now we're going to be sticking to his one-man podcast, where he's going to keep you updated with current events, different topics going on, and we are going to be rolling out full storybook style YouTube
Docs.
videos.
Little doc
Yes.
series.
And
Called
you-
The Secrets of the Elite.
Have you liked that?
I've enjoyed editing. Yes, it's taking me away from making more short form content, but I do feel like with short form, there's stuff that I made a year and a half ago that nobody that follows today is ever going to see just because of the way the algorithm's set up.
Repost.
But in YouTube, you can create a documentary series that lasts decades. That's easily findable, all collected. So I think that there's some value, a lot of value to the long form, because we hit a lot of huge points in the short forms, economically, politically, just what's the status of our country type stuff. But to be able to document it and put it somewhere for when and if things start getting censored, or I don't even want to think of what the 3-4 year future looks like with AI surveillance type stuff. I want people to just know.
Yeah.
I want people to be aware. That's all I want. I'm not trying to convert you to Jesus Christ or get you to be a liberal. Like I don't care. I really don't care. Like if you go through your whole life and don't talk about Jesus, don't love Jesus, but you're a good human who actually does what he says, which is just love thy neighbor, by the way. That's pretty much it.
Not too much, though.
Not too much. Actually, never says that. It says love thy neighbor as thyself.
Ooh.
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
I kind of hate myself. That's actually bad advice.
Like, I hate everybody else.
If you just do that and you're standing up for the person to your left and to your right, I do not care where you're from, what you believe, what your religious bias, political bias is. Like, we're going to rock, like you said, on 95% of topics. And not everything has to be political. You and I have conversations all the time that have to just do with the psychological aspects and the historical aspects. And we'll nerd out on video and media. And there are good things to talk about, but it does all live within this system that we feel like, okay, we're just the cog that keeps it running. And even I think about sometimes, like if I had the switch to change it all, what's on the other side?
Yeah,
I don't know.
To summarize that too, and just another point, I think we can say roughly for the past couple of years, you've kind of been sprinting at this stuff. And that's why we've been making so many shorts, covering so many topics and quick bits. And this year we're planning on being a little bit more of marathon runners. And so we think that's where these like documentary style videos are going to come into play. We're expanding and adding this podcast on to still be able to have a casual conversation about it, but in a way that feels productive for us and maybe a little wholesome for you.
And heck, the Unsub podcast just used their pod to get somebody in Congress.
Yeah.
Shout out Brandon.
The comedy podcast just got a guy who's not in the Epstein files elected to Congress.
Not funded by APAC.
Not funded by APAC.
Keep them tracked, though. Watching you, Brandon.
But, yeah, anyone out there, if you've seen Zach's shorts, if you've seen his reels, and you're like, I agree, we want to keep doing it, know we're making a change this year, and you may see less shorts. If you want to support and keep going, please comment, like, subscribe, tell your mom.
Well, to the point, too, of bias, and I'll end on where you hosted, and then you can sign us off, Sean, is long form allows us to kind of be, quote unquote, in the same room with sometimes like-minded, other times unlike-minded individuals, and actually hear them out. Long form, it shifts the brain when you're not just flipping through content one after another. It keeps the emotions more in check. You can kind of clock out and get back to your life. I do think there's a bit of a healthier world that exists on the podcast long form side, because you're not catching the people in that doom scroll. You never know what the 7 videos before that were, and that your video is going to be the one that just sends them into an ether. You're like, oh my God, it's all broken. Like,
Stop doom scrolling. Watch YouTube videos on your TV instead.
Put it on the background while you clean. Like somebody said the other day, I listened to this while I was eating breakfast. I'm listening to this while I'm doing a puzzle.
I did feel bad about that one.
Puzzle?
I just felt like,
the puzzle or the eating breakfast?
what if I ruined their breakfast?
Well, some of the things you said today might have, but no, I'm kidding.
I thought I killed it today. I thought this was my best one yet.
No, you did great. Okay. Well, Zach asked me what I was grateful for. I'm gonna say I'm grateful for all you guys watching and have watched the entirety of this. This is my first time hosting, so I hope you guys learned something about rage baiting and learning about media literacy and understanding your own bias. Do some research on it. Take some quizzes. There's a couple online. So I'm just grateful for you guys being here, watching it all the way through, and I'm grateful for that.
Heck yeah, dude.
Today, I'm going to be grateful for orange juice.
I love orange juice.
No nutritional value.
Fresh squeezed orange juice does.
Yeah, well,
not Minute Maid.
I used to drink like a bunch of energy drinks, and then I was like, I gotta stop doing energy drinks. So I've been drinking coffee. Last week, I stopped drinking coffee, and I was doing matcha. But matcha is expensive, and I drank it all really fast. So the past 2 days, I just did orange juice, and it was actually really nice.
What kind of orange juice?
It's like I just get the one that says orange. The low ingredient one. I don't even know what
It's not
brand
even
it is.
orange juice. It's just the
an
color
orange. You just
orange.
No, I get the one that's
Just sucking an orange.
I get the one that's 100% real
I
orange
got
juice.
this orange Gatorade.
Okay, I don't drink processed food, guys.
I am grateful for
Son of a bitch. They're always making fun of me.
conscious consumption.
There you go.
I'm grateful for just the ability and be able to, we have a definition for it now of being able to say, okay, I am under my own or over my own 2 feet. I'm in the moment and I'm thinking about why am I watching this? What brought about this time that I'm taking to give to this time economy of taking in this content? What made me want to give up my time to do it? Whether it's a podcast like now, scrolling, a commercial, the radio. Why is it being put out? Why am I listening to it? How does it make me feel? What's the back end reality of the person that's creating it? Consciously living our lives is a superpower. And so I'm just really grateful for being able to consciously sit over my 2 feet and realize where I'm at. I love my family. I love y'all. This is dope. And I am grateful for the future bringing another guest in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
perspective.
Oh, I will say
thing,
too,
man.
I'm grateful for Joe knowing logical fallacies. We didn't get to it today, but
Yeah, we'll talk
hopefully
about it
next time I host, we'll do logical fallacies and analyze.
You gotta
them.
watch out for those.
There's a lot of them. Especially
They're
our
everywhere,
president.
man.
All right, guys, clap it out. 3, 2, 1. Oh, so much better.
Oh, that's great. That was great.